We'd like to call our meeting to order. This is a Board of Commission meeting. It's August 19, 2025. It's 11:04. And we'd like to have a roll call.
Commissioner Mom here.
Commissioner Stubbs here. I don't know if Commissioner Harvey is supposed to be online, but I can't see if he's online or not. We would, at this time, we'd like to invite somebody that would like to do the invocation for us. And if you'd like to volunteer, you can come to the microphone and give us a prayer.
Father in heaven, we're grateful this morning for the privilege of assembling and discussing county problems and concerns. We're grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy in this great country. Grateful that for the land that we live in, and we pray for moisture for our land that we need so badly. And we ask Thee that Thou would give us Thy Spirit here this morning as we conduct business, that all may be done in accordance with Thy mind and will. And we ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Won't you stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll Duncan to give us on the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, commissioners, as you had a chance to look at the agenda, is any conflict of interest, disclosure from any of you? Commissioner Harvey?
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
I have no conflict of interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mon.
I declare no conflict of interest.
And I don't have one either. So at this time, we'll turn the time to Matt for public comments.
Okay, so you kind of notice a little bit of different format on our agenda, and a lot of it is in reference to policies and procedures that we've had in place for the commission, especially in light of the public comment period itself. And so we wanted to bring these forward facing, kind of just as a reminder, and I'm not going to read this verbatim, but on here, just as a note, we do allow each member of the public that is signed up for public comments, whether you're in person or online. We'll give you 3 minutes apiece for that public comment period. And then on here, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware in our policies, after first being recognized by the chair, or as we call you up, that as you make your comments, it's not a time for deliberation or dialogue with the commissioners. However, if the commission chooses to engage in discussion or follow-up questions, they may do so at kind of their discretion. However, it's not an opportunity to have that dialogue here with the public. Also on here, it just indicates that there is no assignment of time. So if you stand up and you want to donate your time to somebody else, choosing to do so kind of is really up to the commission chair's discretion as well. But we do want to point out that all citizens attending our meetings shall observe rules of proprietary decorum and good conduct. Unauthorized remarks or similar demonstrations shall not be permitted by the chair, who will direct the removal of offenders from our meetings. And so just kind of in your comments, be courteous and kind, and ruly instead of unruly. With that being said, on here we do have a couple members that had signed up from the public wishing to speak today. First one on our list is got Pete Black from Blanding.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be first on the agenda. I thought there would probably be some business before doing this, but I'd like to make a general comment on fees. I understand that's what we're talking about today, if the notice in the paper was correct. And I have a real concern over fees, especially building fees. I have my kids are all well housed, but I have grandkids that are in the process of building a home. And I'm just wondering if the finances of the county are in such dire straits that we need to charge a young man that's trying to build a home for his family on his own property $8,000 before he can start building it. The same building in the city would be less than half of that. The building permit for my grandson is $8,248.30. In Blanding City, it would be $3,109.63. Why the difference? Why do we need to charge $8,000 if we can't help but believe that maybe we've left the realm of good governance and gone into extortion? Because you don't have any choice. If you're going to build a house, you pay the $8,000 to the county. My other grandson is getting off a little easier. He just wants to build a shop, about 3,000 square feet, out of metal, just a metal shop building. His building fee is $3,592.60 for a shop. I looked into Garfield County, Utah County. Most other counties around are approximately half what San Juan County is. And that's a concern to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, sorry, Mr. Black. Just as a note on there, and I failed to mention, we do have a public hearing later on the agenda. If you're wishing to speak specifically to the fees itself, we'll also allow for that public hearing. And so sorry, I didn't mention that earlier, and I should have. So anyone, I have, let's see, going back to the list on here, I have Josh Nilsson.
Commissioners, thank you for your time. My name is Josh Nilsson from Blanding, Utah, representing Sunrise Outfitting. I'm here quite often, and I'm talked about quite often because we own a business that's very involved in the government because we have to be. Everything we do relies on a positive relationship with the government. And so I'm here today kind of because I wasn't able to make it last time, and there was a grant or a proposal for an acceptance of a letter about a grant. And I didn't feel like I was talked down. Like I felt like it was a good thing, but I think there was some misrepresentation of me, and I wasn't here to do it. So I'd just like to clarify a few things on record. And I know it's going backwards. We did get the letter of support, and we're appreciative of that. We're appreciative of everything the county does. First of all, we put a lot of work into that grant, but we had a very short window of time. We got together, said we'd like to do these projects. We need funding. Well, there's a grant, and then we had like a 2-week window. And so it was very narrow. We did talk with the commission, members of the commission. We talked with Mac. We didn't make it around to all the department heads, and I understand there was a little bit of concern there, but it wasn't out of any distrust or disdain. We have respect for everybody that does a lot of good work here. It was just kind of a time matter, trying to get everything done as fast as we did. So a couple points I want to make, and I have a letter here I can leave with you because I'll get distracted. But So first of all, we do hold the road department in high regard. We know they're busy. It wasn't any slight towards them that we didn't visit with them specifically on this grant, but we did visit with the county, the commission. We sought insight and approval, and we're happy to work with the road department. The physical work, everything physical that needs to be done with this grant, we can do as volunteers. There are some projects that could be useful with equipment and expertise, but it's not necessary. And if something comes up, then we understand that there is a process to that, as well as working with the federal governments. We're very well aware of that. That's not new news to us. We have worked closely with the federal government in a lot of things for a long time, and we plan to continue to do so. And then the last thing is my role in it, and this is where I kind of felt misrepresented. Is there was a comment made, and I don't know that it was, I don't think it was done with any malice, but it just rubbed me wrong. But it was mentioned that I ran the grant and I used Spear's nonprofit organization to do it. But that's not the truth. In fact, this grant, in my opinion, hurts my business. You provide maps, you provide information, you line it all out for everybody. I'm no longer needed as a tour guide. I'm doing it because I support Spear and I support the county. And the Spear supports the county.
That's time right there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Can I leave these with them?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one on the list here, I've got Brian Robinson.
Okay, so I actually thought I was supposed to be on the agenda, and it turns out I wasn't put on there, so I got to be quick. So I'm putting on what we call our San Juan County Citizens Academy. I did it last year. I hope to have a little bit more participation this year. Commissioner Juan came and did this with us last year, but we're doing some police training for our local leaders. And I am here to personally invite everyone that sits on this panel to come participate.
I can do the hot chocolate.
If it were only that easy. So what we're doing is a series of 4 weeks with training provided by all of our law enforcement agencies in this county. Utah Highway Patrol, Blanding City, and San Juan County. I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball in getting this information out there. We actually start on Thursday, so 2 days from now, at 6 p.m. at our annex here. Utah Highway Patrol is doing our night. And what this consists of is police training scenarios. Essentially, you guys are thrown into our shoes, and we walk you through just different scenarios that we see day in and day out while we're conducting business. Why we're inviting this panel is because you guys run the show, you're the commissioners, and we want a very close working relationship with our local leaders. We have Blanding City Council coming, and also Bluff City Council, as well as some other fire department representatives in Bluff will be coming as well. So what we're looking to do here is, again, build trust with our local leaders. We want to develop a relationship where you guys trust us and you get to see exactly what we're doing. What we're asking, pretty much come with a positive attitude, be ready to see what we do. We're not trying to fool you. We're not trying to make you look silly. These are very real scenarios that we see every day. And again, we very much want to share that with our local leaders so that you guys can have the chance to participate in some of that. That is a very quick rundown. Our dates are August 21st, August 28th, September 4th, and September 11th. I have a slideshow that I'm looking at here that I can get out to everyone when we do have a little bit more time to go over that. But again, our starting night is August 21st, so 2 nights from now at 6 p.m. over here at the Annex, and it is the Highway Patrol's night. So very quick. Is there any questions that you guys have for me about that?
It's fun.
It's a good time. We had a lot of fun last year. Pretty interesting scenarios. We're doing a lot of fun stuff this year. We got some different things planned. It is very eye-opening to the public. As this program moves forward in the years to come, we will be moving towards more citizens and public, business owners, things like that to get involved. But right now we're strictly involved with the local leaders. So
It is a good program, and I know what it entails. That's the reason I still do the hot chocolate.
So I do have to say, a couple of females were intoxicated for the purpose of the training, and I was like, they are acting so rude and giggling and loud, and I didn't know they were. And then I figured it out, and we went through the real scenario. It was
Yes,
great. It was a lot of fun.
And we're doing that same scenario. We'll have several locals come in and drink our alcohol and get drunk, and you guys get the opportunity to run them through field sobriety tests and see what impairment and things like that looks like.
They really had to drink?
Yep. The Highway Patrol has an alcohol division that comes down and they serve them alcohol for 4 or 5 hours and get them pretty intoxicated, and then you get to run them through field sobriety tests. Yeah. So in the future, if you guys want to participate and be drinkers, let me know.
Sign up for that.
But
It was fun.
any other questions that I can answer for you?
Thank you.
Okay,
That's a
awesome.
good service.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was all that had signed up for public comments, and then we don't have anybody other than Commissioner Harvey. Let's see. Yep, Commissioner Harvey is the only one online. So that, commissioners, is your public comment period for today, and then we'll have the public hearing later on.
So, Rosa said something about before the consent agenda. We're supposed to do something. Is that?
On the consent agenda?
Oh, after the consent agenda. Recognition presentation. Okay. Okay, we'll just do we'll turn the time to Mac for the consent agenda.
Okay, so today you have approval of $91,301.33 in small purchases. You have $5,618.33 for a Canon printer for the Public Health Department, $1,549 for Rotomaster Turbo Charge, and $84,134 for Cattle Guard for the Road Department that have been approved. Item number 2, approval of the check registers for August 1st through August 14th, 2025. This item number 3, approval of the amendment number 2 to the agreement for ALJ services between San Juan County and Lynn Lloyd Creswell. This one I'm going to ask you to table and not approve. We've got just, our county attorney had mentioned that there's some concerns with
Okay, they need
the
to
amendment, so
finalize.
we're going to
Okay.
pull that. So
So-
it's really just 1 and 2 that you're approving for today.
So we table and it goes to the next
Correct.
time. Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to approve.
So I make a motion to approve item number 1 and item number 2 on the consent agenda. I do want to clarify on item 1 that the $84,134 for cattle guards, because it's not the cost for one cattle guard. I did look that up. And then would like to table item number 3 for that
Adjustment or whatever.
amendment. So
Okay, all in favor say aye. Oh, we had to second. Okay,
I'll
okay.
second the motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. So without further comments, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. Okay, so now is
Okay.
where we had to go to the front.
Under your recognitions, presentations, and informational items, the first one on here is recognition for the services. We've got recognition for those who had all helped on the LaSalle fire. And then we have multiple drug busts as well. And so we're going to turn our attention over to our HR director, Tanner Sharp. And then he's going to be leading this presentation here.
Awesome. Thanks,
First
Mac.
time ever, right? In commission meeting?
First time ever.
Sweet.
First time and probably last time.
Whatever.
So today we'd like to take a moment as San Juan County and our commissioners to recognize some of the outstanding service this past month. So first, and when I read the organization name, if we could have them come up and shake the hands of the commissioners, and we'll get a picture at the end. We do have a couple of these organizations that are not present, and so we will get these delivered in a picture up on the website. But first, we'd like to take this time to honor those who responded to the Deer Creek LaSalle fire. Their dedication and tireless effort protected lives, property, and the LaSalle community. We extend our deepest gratitude for their extraordinary service in a time of crisis. So we would like to extend recognition to the San Juan County Fire, the San Juan County Road Department, the Blanding Fire, Monticello Fire, LaSalle Fire Department, the San Juan County Sheriff's Office, to our San Juan County Emergency Management, the Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands, to Crystal Johnson, and to San Juan EMS, as well as the Moab Valley Fire District. So if we have a representative present of any of those organizations, if you'd come up, I have a certificate, and we'll send you through the commissioner line and then get a picture.
Tammy, you can be first.
So we have Tammy here, and we have Jeremy as well. Let me find you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone else got to stay home. So with this, we also wish to recognize extraordinary service in our community. We don't have Deputy Giddings here, but we do have Deputy Palmer. So this past month, and it's been on television, but this past month, through a patrol stop, they were able, with the help of Nick's, to bring in a haul of drugs. So we would like to recognize Deputy Braden Giddings as well as Deputy Peyton Palmer and our newest addition to the force, Nick's, with a certificate as well, and for their service to the community. Let me find you. Let's see where you're at.
She's real interested in him, huh?
Thanks, man. And for the other organizations that are not here, I will make sure we get these certificates delivered with a picture. We do want to make sure they are recognized in their efforts in our community.
Thank you.
Smile big.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners.
So all of you walking in here today been checked for drugs already. You just didn't know. Way to pass. So commissioners, this next one, item number 5, we've got Wade Allison, the state of Utah off-highway vehicles manager, presenting on grants, understanding related to the OHV program.
Yeah.
Welcome.
How many minutes do I have?
As long as it's a presentation
Can we
from
go through
you.
lunch?
So, yes.
I'm just kidding.
The bell will tell you when you're done. You'll hear it.
You might need to throw something at me. That'll get my attention. Yeah, I'm newly into this position. I just wanted to come and introduce myself to the commission. I accepted this job in May, and frankly, I'm quite surprised they gave it to me. So I took it and ran. I did 32 years as a law enforcement officer, mainly in Emery County. That's where I'm from and live. And I took a job as a recreation planner with the Manti-LaSalle National Forest. And when Trump got in, I got the old Trump card on a Sunday at church. Hey, don't come to work on Monday. I'm going, okay, great. So anyway, I reached out to this job, and here I am. But I'm going out to the counties because we contribute a lot to these counties. I didn't get the numbers, and I apologize for it. But over the years, San Juan in one form or another from our grant process have received several $100,000. I know we have over $100,000 of open grants with you guys right now. So we play a big part in supporting OHV recreation in your county. I'm very familiar with these grants because as a user and as I ran search and rescue for Emery County for about 14 years, and I went through this process many times that you guys are going through and applying for grants. And I know how much they mean to our rural communities in supporting this. Because the people are here, whether it's us or whether it's people coming in to recreate, they're coming to San Juan County in OHVs, and we want to help you support that and manage that in any way we can. It was mentioned, I was listening here about Spear, and I wanted to talk a little bit about clubs and jamborees. They're a very important part of the program because really the Forest Service and the BLM can't do everything that needs to be done out there. Impossible. It falls back on us, and who better to manage that land than us? I'm sorry, my experience, I worked for the Forest Service and volunteered for over 20 years with them, but they come and go. They come and go with promotions. You'll see one come in from a different state and come in and start knowing everything about what we need to know here. But it's us. It's those that live in our communities. We know the issues. And I think we have the better solutions for them. And volunteerism with the OHV community is very important, and it's important to our communities. And I think that's why in our rural communities we stand out, is because of all the volunteerism we get. I remember we had a heavy year with search and rescue, and we were the second highest use of the UHP helicopter a few years ago. And one of the commissioners come to me and said, "Hey, we're thinking about giving you guys a monthly stipend." And I said, "No, don't do that. You're taken away from the spirit of volunteerism." And that's what makes our communities great in rural Utah, is what we do without getting paid. And I want to second these clubs and jamborees and what they do. And back to grants a little bit. Please submit grants. Submit good grants. We want to see good on the ground. As a program director, my two priorities is access and work on the ground. Because without trails, nothing else falls into place. So I just wanted to emphasize that's kind of where I'm going. These trails are important to all of us. And I know they bring an economic beneficially to this county, but more importantly, and I see that in the county, in Emery County, but more importantly, they're important to us. They're part of our history. They're part of our culture. Many of the trails that we ride on we have family history too. In fact, you have a hole in the rock trail that I have family members that were part of that expedition. So they have value to us as citizens first, and second, with the value they have to bringing in tourism dollars to our area. I also wanted to thank the commission. I reviewed your RS-2477 routes, and you guys have some really great routes out there claimed. I was very encouraged to see the ones you had, the hole in the rock, because I have a personal family connection to it. Also part of that is the Rincon. Great trails to have RS-2477s on. They have a great value to the OHV community and to the users. And I would encourage you to exercise the right that you have been given. There's been 3 court cases, and if Kendall was here, he would emphasize that, I'm sure. I knew Kendall on my law enforcement side of things because I actually worked down here quite a bit with the state. But you guys got some great claims, and I would hope that you would exercise your claims to those routes. We've had 3 court cases this year, and we have won all 3 of them in the federal arena. So there's some good things coming down there. One thing message I leave, and then I'll open it up if you have any questions for me, is 3 words: join, participate, and donate. These are going to be the 3 words that are going to be guiding me. And the message I give to users and to you is to join a club. Join a club and be involved in these processes, whether it's land use, whether it's putting on a jamboree or going out and working, which leads me to my next one, is to participate. It's more than joining a riding club. We need to be out there going and working on projects that make trails better and makes our community better. It's important as users that we go into the BLM office and the Forest Service rec planners and say, we want to do a project. Where can we help you? Otherwise, really, they're not going to come out and reach out to us, very seldom. So go in and do that. And the last thing is donate. My background, I've been involved in land use for over 20 years. And I know how to make comments. I have defended several travel plans throughout the state. The two big ones that came out with the settlement was in my backyard, the San Rafael Swell and the San Rafael Desert. Of course, you had Moab and Henry Mountains. So I've been heavily involved in those. And so that's the other part of it, is to donate to land use organizations. We're very fortunate within the state to have PLIPCO there for us and them, but there's also other great places like Blue Ribbon and UPLA out there that are also out there fighting the battle. And that's my spill. I'm here to serve you in any needs you have with the OHV community. And yeah, I'll leave, when I leave here, I'll go out to your assistant out here. I'll leave all my contact information with her and you can have it. And my cell phone is my personal cell phone. I'll answer it whenever you call. So I don't have a work phone number. I don't put it up at night. You can call me at midnight. I lived 32 years getting calls at midnight, having to go out and go to the jail or somewhere. So a call from you guys would be a pleasure. So.
Well, midnight is my best time to work, so that's when the good ideas come. Anyway.
Well, I learned when I got 50, that was the lack of sleep. Yeah, about midnight, you're wide awake
you either
anymore.
worry about something or creating something. But I would be calling you because I am working with a landowner from Blanding, and he has land that we've been dreaming and thinking about doing some type of trails. Some would be working with some of the original trails that used to go from Blanding all the way to Bluff area. Anyway, but and I'm glad you came because now we have a contact where we can kind of work, and I'll be inviting you to come and maybe we can go with the Jeep and
I would love that.
So I'll pick up that.
I would make time available to come down. It's really not that far of a drive for me to come down here. And we are seeing this in other communities. Beaver, I think the city of Beaver is probably the model of this. They had a club. They applied for grant money to purchase the property right on Main Street, just right across the street from the pawn shop. They put a trailhead in there. They put kiosks. They put, please come and enjoy. They put messages out, if you're going to come in our neighborhood, please stay on the trail. The mountains up there is our water. That's, we get our water from the mountains, and that's our resource for our grazing. But come, enjoy, and protect our resource while you're here. And they have that messages on the board. It's right in town, so people come into town, they unload, they spend their money, and then they go up and enjoy the trail. So there is money to purchase property like that. And I noticed the Sand Rock Ridge Riders, we have a grant application that's currently open right now, and we're going to vote on those tomorrow. The Sand Rock Ridge Riders are out of Fillmore, and they're doing the same thing. So there's models out there that we can follow and help you with.
Lots of the properties already owned by this person, and anyway, so while we're thinking about, we need things like probably putting more gravel in the path and having some marquees that have the history.
Yes.
The history of the area. And I think we have more than one idea, but one of the ideas would be just short for families, just to go for just walk type of thing and maybe learn about the history. Anyway, so
one of the categories we have in our grants is tourism. And before I had this job, I've been a member of the Sage Riders Motorcycle Club, and I put 3 or 4 historical kiosks that I applied for a grant for. One was our CCC road going up Fair Mountain, a couple of historic things along the Green River, and they love to fund those. So we literally, it wouldn't cost the county thing. We could have some great kiosks, celebrating your culture and your history here in this county.
And also information, because, I have my husband, he doesn't do much stuff, but he go hiking, and be nice if they get lost to know where we're being last seen, something like that. But I think that would be But thank you for
Yep,
coming.
get a hold of me. The next grant cycle is coming out in January is when it's going to open up. There's also another grant out there. It's called the ORI. It's the Outdoor Recreation Initiative. You guys may be familiar with this. This is big money grants. This is kind of a step out of our OHV grants. These are for millions of dollars for land acquisitions, and so be aware of that. And that's just not motorized. It could be non-motorized too.
Yeah.
And there is money out there to help support our rural communities. And I would love to give you direction. I do more with the OHV grant because that's my program, but the ORI grant, even though it's motorized and non-motorized, is in a different department. But I have all the contact information and can facilitate that for you guys as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Commissioner, you have-
I do. So, we have to have a lot of cooperation among agencies, especially here with, so we obviously deal with our public lands director, but one of the complaints about the forest is that for those, the OHV is getting wider and wider than what a four-wheeler used to be. Those trails only accommodate usually for now a motorcycle or a four-wheeler. So I think it's advantageous for us to, we obviously need to get with cooperating agencies and have the conversation. How do we accommodate that so we still have access to those places on the forest? Not so much the BLM because that's more the flatlands, but I don't know. You've had your experience there.
Yeah.
The conversation, is it extremely difficult?
It's a challenge because you have here the single track motorcycle trail system. You have probably I would say the second best system in the state of Utah. And your single track guys, there's 44,000 registered motorcycles in Utah, and they would fight you tooth and nail to turn that into an ATV trail. You have 50-inch people out there. We have almost 180,000 registered ATVs. The total number of registrations we have across the board is about 235 to 240,000 of them in the state. So I also have the 50-inch ATV group, and they're saying, hey, we have 50-inch machines. We would like our trail to, on the trails that are designated by the Forest Service to maintain 50-inch. And then you have the 66 coming by, and they say, well, we can fit through there. We can drive that. And then you have the Jeepers that come into the 66ers and say, we can get on that trail too. So it's it is a continuous battle. Trust me, I seen it when I was a kid. Do you guys remember the big red three-wheelers? I survived one of those as a teenager, and I'm still living. So I barely survived it. About killed me and my brother more than once. But nonetheless, I seen that when the three-wheelers came on, and it was just motorcycles. And then pretty soon the motorcycle trails went to 46 inches. And I'm going, how did this happen? And now those trails are 50 and 60. So it's really a case by case, but the most important thing is to preserve access. Whether it's a single track 24-inch trail, whether it's a 50-inch trail, 66-inch trail, or a full-size trail, the most important thing is that we're involved and we're maintaining that access. Because I'm here to tell you, even though we have a very favorable administration, and to me it's like I can catch my breath, right? Because I've been fighting for years, and we got a favorable administration for access. But I'm here to tell you, we can't let our guard down because there's going to be a battle in 3.5 years. I promise you. And it's going to be worse than what we've ever seen. Not only that, but we also have people at our local Forest Service and BLM offices that are not necessarily pro-access like we would like them to be. So there are still internal battles that we need to fight. And the most important thing is protecting every inch of mile out there that's open. And if there's these RS-2477 routes that the county has title to, open them too. So anyway, we have opportunities right now.
Thank you so much.
And if I can be excused, I got another meeting I'm going to be to, and I'll leave my contact information out here.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, the next one on our agenda, you have Kat Charleston presenting on the Recovery Day 2025 events.
She did not come, so I guess I'll try to do my best. Anyway, it's the third annual Recovery Day, and what it is a combination about raising awareness for addiction and also celebrating recovery. So this is going to be September 18 from 5 to 7 at the Centennial Park in Blanding. And so there'll be Commissioner Harvey always brag about his fifth graders. Every place we go, the fifth graders are. Well, Kat Charleston, the organizer of this program, she's one of my college students. And so she's very excited. She had lots of good things planned for it. They're going to have food. It's going to be there. It's a good opportunity to learn how to cook dinner, take the family there. They're going to be games. They're going to talk about community resources. There's going to be music and more. So basically, this is just to raise awareness for addiction. And one of the statistics is that vaping is starting early, even in the middle school nowadays. And so they're trying to put events of educate not only the public, the parents, because sometimes the parents are the last one to know. And I know when I was raising my kids, we had a network of parents that we told each other what our kids were doing. So anyway, I think this will be a good event to support. And so remember, September 18, from 5 to 7 at the Centennial Park in Blanding. And if you live in Monticello, you can take a ride and go eat dinner there and play games. And I don't know what the other week is, September 18. But anyway, thank you.
Okay. Next on our agenda, item number 7, we've got Matt Holden here and Emily Walton. They're presenting for Southeastern Regional Development Agency. Jerry is waiting in the wings as well to critique. So,
good morning, Commissioners. My name is Matt Holton, represent Wonder School here in the state. Hearing that the Highway Patrol purposely gets people drunk was worth every minute of coming to this meeting.
I should have divulged
I've never had alcohol, so they could probably save a lot of time and money and use me. Give me a tablespoon and I'm done. So super happy to be here. Super grateful. I just want to give a shout out to Jerry and her organization for the partnership and finding solutions for this area of the state. Also want to give a big shout out to Representative Logan Monson for his absolute and unwavering dedication to the economy, to the families down here in San Juan County. As we approached him with this idea of looking at supply, we look at supply in every corner of the market throughout the United States with pretty much everything. When it comes to child care, we need to start looking at supply and demand, and there is a demand there, and Emily will walk through that. But just want to give a big thanks for him. We are going to be working with the representative this next session on getting some money for this community to try to move the needle a little bit. So I'll pass it over to Emily to kick it off.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Emily. I'm with a company called Wonder School, and our focus is on increasing the supply of childcare. So I've given you a presentation. You can look through it, but I'll make sure to speak to quite a bit of it so people who cannot see the presentation can understand what we're talking about. So we have a mission where we approach childcare from the perspective of capitalism. And so a lot of the ways that childcare, people talk about fixing childcare is based around increasing subsidy. We don't oppose that necessarily, but we're looking for ways to show providers and get new providers into the ecosystem and show them that they can actually make money and support their families doing that. And I do have a little slide here that just talks a little bit about Wonder School. We've been around for 10 years. We've got a lot of partnerships at the state level, and we have experience implementing big projects at the state level, and we also love working in rural areas and helping them understand how to increase childcare access in their area. So last year, we did a lot of work across the country in several different states to just go in and create new slots. And so slots is a way to describe a business that has availability for childcare for children to come in and receive care. And so last year, in several different states, we created 4,276 childcare slots. And these were licensed slots, so the folks who run those businesses have gone through the licensing process. They've had the background checks with the state. And so we're pretty proud of that work because we've been able to go in and instead of saying things like, oh, we helped people get a lot of funding for childcare, which is fine, we actually were able to say, here's how we actually delivered the slots that were available in these communities. And so that's how we approach our work. And we have this targeted outcome. I'm now on, I think, page 5 of the presentation. This targeted outcome to recruit new providers in areas. And so what we do is we go into an area, we do advertising. Some of it's online, some of it's in person, some of it's at community events. And we try to find people who have some aptitude to provide childcare, but they don't necessarily have any business experience. And so the issue that we come across there is if they start a new childcare business and they don't have that business experience, the program can fail. If they don't have support getting through the licensing process is tough. They sometimes will fall out of the program. And if they don't know how to become profitable very quickly, they're just not able to continue the childcare. And so we've actually seen this over the past several years in many states. A lot of programs are closing because it's just not profitable for them. They can't get their program filled quickly enough, and they're just unable to continue that care. So the next few slides on here are really more details about how we do that. We do community outreach, and then we help the providers plan with economies of scale, which means we give them access to some tools and resources they wouldn't have on their own. One of these is a way to advertise their business very quickly and help parents understand where they can come in and apply and have their child enrolled. We help them with licensing, like I said, and then we connect them to cohorts of people who are doing the same thing, either in their area, in their state, or across the country. And when you go through a difficult process, having a friend with you or someone who you can commiserate with the difficulties can really help people stay in a program. So we do that, and then we stick with them for 2 years and do business planning with them, help them keep that program full, and help them understand how to do the right price structure so that they can keep the children in their programs and also make sure that they can stay profitable. Do you want me to have questions at the end, or do you want to have any questions now? It's up to you.
Well,
It's your meeting.
My goal started creating daycares. When I said children at the college, they didn't have that. So I know the process. Plus, and the difficulty to find people that train. I have hiring people that have master degrees that could not do the job. They say, I didn't go to get a master degree to change diapers, basically, And then I have people that have no training, but they have a face when they were changing the diaper of the child. They say, I liked you, you're special, whatever. And so I have been looking. Daycare is very, very important for our community, and I keep dreaming different ideas that we can do, and I appreciate you being here because it's nice to have where you can cooperate with each other. When I was doing a daycare at college, daycare's still there. Anyway, we had a form about a library. They can check out toys. It was a plastic container. They had all the things to teach a unit. And they will come and the daycare providers will come for training there, and they will go home with something that they checked out to take. And anyway, maybe Commissioner Juan has some.
I think Commissioner Harvey has.
Commissioner Harvey, I'm sorry, you had to speak up because I'm not watching at you. Did you have a comment or a question?
I do. I just wanted to ask about the efforts down on the Navajo reservation. What does that look like?
Yep, that's a great question. So we do have some experience. I'll say I think New Mexico is the place where we have the most experience working, on reservations. And so it really depends on, the contract that we come over, what people would like to do with the, with the work that they would hire us to do. But, that typically, my experience, it depends on the state, but they have a different licensing process, right? But it is in the end still the same idea of how do you make sure that you're recruiting a person who can be qualified. And typically, I will say, so you all understand, a lot of the place we find success is where people start a new childcare business in their home because the overhead is less, right? But if you have an area in a community where someone says, actually, we have this building available and we think it could qualify to have all the appropriate safety the safety things, we can also train a person to run a business there in a center. But what we found is, like I said, working through that process of finding the right person. And so we have a big funnel usually, right? Maybe if we want to start 10 programs, we'll recruit maybe 30 or 40 people to try to help them understand, here's what it would mean to run this business. Here's the licensing that you'd have to do, and then help them through that. And so I know that doing this work on a reservation does have some different aspects, but in the end, the core work is the same, right? Help them make sure the licensing is appropriate, help them make sure they have a place to provide the care, and then we would work with, whichever agencies are in the area to make sure that the way we've set it up works for that area specifically. Does that help answer your question? We do have some experience, I think, in the end is the thing you should know, Commissioner.
Yeah, I appreciate you explaining that. How are your outreach efforts looking in regards to the program you're offering? How does that look like?
That's a good question. So in this particular program I'm talking about, we haven't done any outreach yet. So the thing that we're working on with Representative Monson is to try to get an allocation from the legislature to get the funding to do the outreach. And so what that looks like for us, I'll just skip to this next page, is target scenarios. The way that we do that work is we charge about $2,500 per slot that we create. What that means is we'll go into the community, find a person to start the new childcare business, work them through licensing, get their business set up with them, and then support them for those 2 years. And so of the slots that we create, the way that we charge that is about $2,500 a slot. And so the way to think of that is in a home, typically if you're licensed, you can provide, it really depends on the ratios, right? So maybe about 8 children get care there is usually what it is. Maybe there's some infants, some 2 and 3 year olds. Yeah. So it really depends. But if they had, a lot of toddlers, there wouldn't be as many children, right? And then if you're at a center and you have employees that you can hire, a center could provide maybe 50 or 60 slots, right? So it just depends on the kind of folks that we can find to start the businesses and support them. And so we haven't done any outreach here, to be clear, because we'd need to get under contract and have an agreement of how people want the program to go, what the community wants to see from it. But that's what we're looking at. So, and I'm happy to also talk about just some specific data we know about your county. Did that answer your question, Commissioner?
One of it.
I'm grateful for the responses. I think it would be important to focus on outreach down on the reservation too. I'll share with you some efforts in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that might be good to consider.
Mm-hmm.
UNHS has been a huge provider for employment, both in Montezuma Creek, Aneth area, as well as Monument Valley and Navajo Mountain. In the past, they have looked at maybe opening up space or acquiring space for their employees,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to offer childcare. And I'm not sure what the details were for not following through with that effort. I think it was just maybe the technical aspect of it
Mm-hmm.
in regards to facility requirements, licensure, and probably building up a business plan. But I know UNHS and USU are going to be huge employers
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of families, and I know that employment, sometimes there's barriers to childcare, and being able to have that. but I can only share with you some of the efforts in the past and what that looked like.
Thank you.
UNHS being that facility for their employees, and I think each facility has over, now it's probably more than 200 employees per facility.
Mm-hmm.
But that's maybe something Representative Motson might be familiar more with, because I know he's tied into UNHS as well. But yeah, if I could encourage some of that technical assistance. I know there's a need. I know countywide there's a need, but facilities and maybe USU. I know in Blanding's done a wonderful job. Is actually Commissioner Stubbs. She actually advocated.
I saw lots of Navajo tacos and yard sales to make
Yeah.
that building.
Nice.
And it'd be cool to replicate that down in Monument Valley at their new
And the
their
new
new
campus
college,
there. The new campus.
and as well as UNHS. But thank you for answering my questions. I'm going to yield my time now.
Commissioner Harvey.
It's going to be a bill coming. It's not fire. It's
Okay.
the city telling us
Okay.
it's noon, so don't get scared.
I just want to address that question as well. One thing that stood out to me that really got me excited about what Wonder School is doing, Commissioner Stubbs leaned into it a little bit. There were people that were qualified in many areas of academia or anything in the workforce, but when it came to childcare, you either had it or you didn't,
Yeah.
right? And you either had that love for those kids or you didn't.
You say, there you go.
And
So
we
you
wanted
get
to,
get-
Okay, thank you.
we want to make sure, right, that you get the right people there. So nobody starts a childcare business because they're so excited to work on QuickBooks and bill people, and nobody does that. The great thing about Wonder School is that's exactly what they do. You have the passion and the care for children. Wonder School is not only going to help you connect with these potential children, but also, how do you do billing? How do you market your business? They have multiple languages that they offer these services in. How do we make sure we get kids in your slot? How many hours do you have them a day? They take care of all of those details for 2 years. Why 2 years? Because that's the runway that somebody needs to truly be successful. Teaching somebody how to fish, right? How can you get them to stand on their own 2 feet? Which is super important. And another thing I want to mention that was asked about the outreach that has been done, as Emily mentioned, the representative is working on this appropriation to actually have it be the first of its kind pilot anywhere in Utah. The state and the government's really good at, if somebody wants to run a childcare business, you can go to Workforce Services, you can go to Care About Childcare, you can ask them, hey, how do I work through subsidies and how do I work through the government program? But what the government really hasn't done, and nor you could question is it even their role, is to go out and actually create supply and bring people into that space. And so that's also something that they address. And with this appropriation, with it being a pilot, there would be no cost to the commission. There'd be no cost to San Juan County. This would be an investment by the state to look at San Juan County, an area that needs economic help. You have to, and we talk about housing supply and housing affordability and all of these things, but most families, the only thing that they can control is getting a job, trying to get a job. But that decision that they make when they're sitting there in their living room deciding, how do we go get a job? There's no one that's going to watch our kids. You may not have family nearby. You've got to have that childcare so you can give those families that flexibility to say, hey, I think we're in a good spot where we can both get a job. Maybe we can try to buy our first home and work towards that American dream.
Thank you, Matt.
And one of the barriers that we have, since I came as a commissioner, I started looking for daycare again, is facilities. So where you guys going for something, we need facility. I know for the longest time, lots of children after school end up at the public library, and then they need snack and they need this and several things. And I think that I can talk to Logan Manson, I don't remember, Representative Manson, about some of the ideas I have working, maybe they can implement with your project, but it's facility. And I think I like, because once you start working with multiple daycare providers, it's a network. They help each other. They share equipment. They can do all kinds of stuff. And also, sometimes the more money you make, the less money you make. So you have to find the optimum of the business, so that you don't pay more your helper than you're making, and then you start becoming burnout. Anyway, so I'll be anything I can do to assist you in this project. And I have worked in the Navajo race. I used to monitor the Head Start program in the reservation in and around the state of Utah. And they had the best programs in Halchita, a couple places in the reservation, where they have seniors come and wipe their noses and rock them and help them. And they had all day Head Start program all day, and they were amazing programs. And they make those many of those teachers were former students of mine, and they make amazing teachers for those children. And so I think there's a future there for that there too. So
Thank you. I'll say just a few more things and give you back your afternoon. The last few pages talk about the economic need for childcare in San Juan County. So we know that in this county, there's 185 childcare slots. And I pulled that data off the state website yesterday. It just added up, how many slots are provided right now currently and filled in businesses. And so the state estimates from 2024 say that there's about 600 children under age 6 who are in working families. So that means both parents work or trying to work. And we know those numbers change, but so that just says it looks like there's a need for between 200 to 400 childcare slots in the county. And so the way that relates to the economy, you all understand how jobs work and how we can't leave our children home alone when we go to do that. But there's some great data that shows that every childcare slot that's created adds about $30,000 to $40,000 in economic gains to the region. And so it just shows what you're able to go out and do if people can go to work when they have that child care. So I will leave that there, and I really appreciate all your questions. And at the very end here on this document, if you want to look it over, I just pulled some data from your state information so you understand where I got these numbers from. So that's all.
well, thank you. Thank you so much. Commissioner Mann has to come.
So I just need a little bit of clarification.
Yes.
So with creating this, if I were to go and start and get a slot, I obviously have to have capital. So if that was not in my home and I was going to start, so a lot of people, obviously they're in a situation where they cannot provide that because they're looking for work. How do they, where does that come from?
That's a great question. This is one of the biggest difficulties that people face. And so I've seen a couple solutions. One, sometimes you'll have credit unions or smaller loan agencies decide we're going to focus on childcare loans. And so Nevada had a program like this where they'll just say we're going to do low interest loans to people who are starting new childcare businesses. Now they would have they would want to they need to make back some interest, right? They would have some interest in the business succeeding, but they would provide a lot of supports because they could see we can just this person up. If we can just help this business get up off the ground, it'll be successful. So that is one thing that we've seen, those micro loan agencies existed. We've seen that happen. We've also seen places where a community will decide we're going to donate use of this space if they will, make sure that there's, let's say, 50 slots available. And then you'll also, I've seen and I think this model should be used so much more. You'll see a county say, let's pull, and they'll do like a nonprofit where they'll come together and say, let's bring people in who can help remodel this space, right? Because you need different things to make sure children are safe in a space. Let's bring people together to remodel it. So it's a good question when you've got a person who, let's say they're working a job, they're making $40,000 a year, they want to go start a childcare business. How do they get a big loan to do that? typically they really can't, right? It's just a very difficult thing for them to do unless there's some of these adjustments made in the market for them to do that. But I will say what I have seen be successful, we'll have women start out in their home and then they'll say, this is actually really profitable. I'm running this very well and I just need more space. And at that point, because they already have a business and it's been successful in their home, they can go make a successful pitch to a bank and say, here's what I'd like to do. I know that there's 50 kids on my waiting list. I could, if I had a space available tomorrow, I could go out and fill these slots and hire these people to come in and work for me. So they'll go in and what they end up doing is they'll hire their sister to come and work with them. Then they have 2 centers, they've hired their husband, and they have a very successful business. So that's actually typically how we've seen people grow, is they start in home and then they go into the center because they already have a successful model. Does that help?
Yeah. So are you in that conversation piece from the beginning? Because
We are.
Or do you come in just now, you've got the money, let's get a slot?
Yeah, we mostly encourage people to start in their home because it is hard to make that jump. Yeah. So, and we have seen in some, like Nevada is actually another example where it's pretty hard to start in the home because they have a lot of renters and a lot of HOAs. And so they make that difficult in some ways. But we're still able to work around that. We can help people figure out those problems. So yeah, that's typically how we advise them, is in the home. And also it just goes back to that overhead cost, right? They don't have to pay that rent or get that thing renovated. But I think there are some new innovative models coming up, especially when you've got people aligned in a community. You've got a county, a city, you've got nonprofits aligned. It's like, how can we just get one center up and going? And that it can work,
And also under the Sterlita with sort of, there's funds that you can receive if you start a childcare.
So revolving loan fund with the agency is something that's successful, but also with your county grants that you receive from GOEO, you can also make that
Yeah.
one of your focus points with those
Yeah.
opportunities as well.
And one of the thoughts I had is to get a bigger house where 2 or 3 ladies have their own little business and have one person that rotate helping them with the snacks and different things, So I think the need is great and the possibilities are great too. It's just like sometimes it's a matter of having support. And I'm so glad that the legislature may do something like that.
yeah, they've been interested and excited about it because they want to see the model work, right? They want to
Yeah.
does this
Yeah.
actually work? So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
We'll see you Thursday at the drink.
Oh, 6 o'clock.
I think we're gonna have lots of volunteers there, huh?
If you want to be a partner, you can go. You've got to come in for
No.
The funniest part is I'm like, I'm not telling who it was, but I'm just saying, like, they keep giggling when they're giving instructions and they're laughing. They are being so rude to these officers. Little did I know till we started the thing. But we did real field sobriety tests. It was cool. It was way cool. That was the real thing.
That's the reason I got for the chocolate. Anyway, what we had next, Matt?
Okay, let me switch.
I can't see where we are because we are.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, the next one on your agenda is update on general plan land use section amendment process. We got Jens and Trent. This was a request from you to bring this back just as we try to figure out how we're gonna do the general plan with the updates and everything. You had requested that we bring this back and just give you guys an update.
So some of this will change because what we got informed this morning.
On the general plan?
Yeah.
So part of it is just when we knew internally that there were a lot of state departments, multiple state departments within the state of Utah that can help the county out on required updates to the general plan. And so as we've reached out and had conversations, the preliminary conversations, it's kind of what this update is for. And so the state has created a website or an email contact information called it's county and city planning.utah.gov. So I reached out to them, and those are kind of all the states that are legislative legislatively requiring us to have specific sections within our general plan. Primarily, you have the Utah Department of Agriculture, you have the Utah Division of Natural Resources and Division of Drinking Water. They all collectively, as a team, monitor that email traffic. And so I reached out to them. They put a team on it, and we're working to schedule meetings here within next week with them. And with that, I also spoke to the Utah Ombudsman Office. They kind of collectively oversee the initiatives throughout the state for cities and counties on training as well as kind of guidance. And so one of the things that most of the departments with the state say, hey, the AOG has money and they can assist us with the planning requirements, updating general plans, land use ordinances. So I spoke to Jerry, and I believe Jade. Sorry, I failed to mention you earlier that you were here. So Jade is here with the group. So, but in that conversation, they're like, hey, there is planning assistance available. And so I reached out to Todd, who's a staff member from Southeastern, and he's willing to come and help us. Kind of when you look at, do we need to hire a consultant, or can your own staff take care of it and do the updates, or can you use the Association of Governments? And so Todd is willing to, and Jerry was gracious enough to allow him to help us if needed. And so the next steps that I kind of see is, as the Division of Drinking Water, they're kind of overseeing this at the state level and their resources that they have. So the first meetings that we would be setting up would be with them. You kind of see in your packet some of the information that the Department of Ag has produced for us. And it's going to be a decision process where kind of the way that I see this going overall is we'll collect all the information and then we'll push it through Trent and the Planning Commission in total. Kind of as you learned today, Planning Commission, we went opposite in the process where it should be Planning Commission led. So we'll get Trent involved on there, try to help us formulate which route these should take. So when you look at the general plan should be your vision statement, kind of the mission statement, and then your land use follows it on how to enact that. So in, for example, the agricultural protection area, the departments there at the state will give us this information on kind of how we can set it up with options. They've given us multiple other jurisdictions throughout the state that have done this. This one here that I provided in the packet is Utah County, but you also see some examples from other counties on kind of how they've set up their processes. And this is just on the agricultural protection areas. So they've kind of incorporated it in general plan as kind of a topic and a discussion, but then created these processes within their structure. And that's kind of where we'll have to go on some of these as we mention it in the general plan, so we can quickly suffice state code in the requirements, but really it's the land use that we're going to have to sit down and, as we gather up all this information, take it to Planning Commission and see what they would prefer, and then bring it to Commission. Some of these are independent processes themselves, like the agricultural protection area. If we allow for it in the general plan, then we've got to create that process in the land use ordinance to enact and kind of give the citizens guidance on how to go about it. And so these initial meetings are literally just that exploratory. Okay, what do we need to have? They'll give us the information. They won't write it for us, but that's really where I think we can use Todd and kind of his expertise to wrap it all for us, and then we'll be presenting the updates and everything through Planning Commission, and then bring it for Commission once we get done through Planning Commission.
It's kind of interesting as you see the different counties the size of
The difference.
yeah, some are little, some are big, some are,
Yeah, yes. And
And
it's
so-
kind of objective. It would be, even for me, hard to get a consultant. The consultant would be doing the same thing we're doing, is gathering the information and then present it to the planning commission, and then planning commission makes the recommendations on what we think we should do. And so kind of that for me is the update that I have.
Commissioner Munn, do you have a comment?
Thank you. I would like to ask a couple of questions about the timeline and make sure that we are good. And if I could ask the chair from the planning and zoning. I just think we've just got to make sure we're all on the same page in this process and with the attorney. So what is the timeline? Are we looking at the 3 pages only and then the general plan?
No, just 3 pages only.
Just the 3 pages
just
only.
the land use section.
So I'm wondering if we could discuss possibly a timeline, because that's you guys have a timeline. So I'm just wondering if we could make that together, or does it need to go back to you? I mean, what are we looking at when it goes back to them? What's that timeline look like?
Well, I think we're going to be working on both of them at the same time, the
Okay.
general plan and the land use ordinance. I think we can work on them concurrently. And
So how soon can we expect something to go to them?
So
what you and
that's,
with what you're-
that's
I mean, I guess what I'm saying, I think if we just leave it out there, it leaves it way too. I mean, I think what I'm saying is I would like to say, if you're really feeling like it's 30 days, then in 30 days, if it's not, that's okay. But let's have a review in 30 days of where we're at, and then maybe in 60 days where we're at.
yes.
We've got
that's-
to set some hard lines there.
The hard part is, so we'll gather the information from the state, and they're quick. Within a
have it
couple
all
of
figured
days, I had them in their ear and setting up meetings. And so once I get off the next meeting with the Department of Drinking Water, I'll know kind of, okay, what does that common picture look like, so we can help paint that common picture. We'll get with Planning Commission. We have to have a discussion with them. So their next one is the 3rd Thursday of next month, which is
second.
The second.
Thursday of next month. So you're kind of a month away, 30 days away, before we can have the Planning Commission discussion of here's what we have, here's what we need to do, and then
Okay.
go from there. And so you're looking a couple months in just
So if you can have information to
that.
them by their
Yes.
next meeting, then you
Oh,
could have
absolutely.
information to us that following Tuesday from
an
your
update.
meeting.
Yes. Yep.
So if I'm looking at a date, which I'm going to,
So we're still talking about the 3 pages?
yes.
Okay.
So if
So you
it
have
would
the
come
calendar
to
on there.
you on, what's your date? Is it the 11th?
11th of September.
If it comes to you on the 11th, then it comes back to us on the 16th. Does that
But
work?
we wouldn't. All that would be on the 16th for you as an update.
Yeah,
There's still,
for sure.
Yeah,
Just
so
an
we can
update.
continue to update you. That's no problem at all.
Yeah.
We can't forget the public and the
Yeah, we have to
Right.
have public
Yeah,
hearing.
process.
And,
But as long as we're communicating and having that, and
Okay.
yeah, if you're just bringing information, they're discussing it, then we just have an update that, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to bring it to public, or this is what we've got, this is where we're at, as long as we're all on the same, going back and
Okay.
forth.
Yep, no problem.
We'll do
Is that
that.
what we're good with?
yeah, I like that. And the main thing for
What
us
did I
is
say?
to
What date
save
did I
money
say?
that we don't have. You know, I think it would be nice just to get somebody that can come, we can pay, but maybe Utah County has the money. but
Yeah.
Planning
I was
Commission.
envious of them, and they say they have a church or something every block, so they don't have money either. So.
We've got gents though, so
Anyway, so I think we can, I'm confident that we can have it just by the tax and MACA.
I believe so.
It can move quick.
okay.
So we're good on dates?
Yep.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll go smooth through the
Yeah.
public process.
And if you get
Sure.
these documents, just get them emailed to us and we'll
Absolutely,
see how we
yep.
can fold
Yeah.
it back into the
Will
general
we be
plan.
included in those emails?
You are on the Planning Commission one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll
Thanks,
see you.
Trent.
Bye-bye. Well,
Okay. Hiya. Let me get back up to the top. Okay, the next item. So you're now down to business action items. And so
We'll see.
on the business action
We have-
item number 9.
We have Jeremy.
Yeah, so consideration and approval of the emergency medical services training contract between the trainee and San Juan County to provide advanced education to EMS employees.
So if you want me to just give you really quick what we're envisioning with this is that we can help reimburse or provide help our EMTs advance to the next level. Traditionally, we've just allowed them to take our class, the advanced class, for no cost. When we still propose that as our option, but we do want to get something out of the deal. So we've created this training contract that would require them to work in the department for 3 years before they would leave. If not, it would be a pretty nominal. I mean, this year the advanced class we're teaching right now is $1,200, so they would have to divide that out at some point of however much time they hadn't been here. So hopefully it's fairly self-explanatory. Yeah.
I have one question. On here on this trainee, the contract that says dollars blank. Are we to fill that in?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes. Sorry. Thanks for pointing that out. So, like for this one, the advanced class we would put in a number $1,200 and agree to that. Okay. If the other option we'd like to be able to do this is to encourage our advanced or EMT providers to help them in some small monetary way to get to paramedic school as well. And so we'd be able to, with our budget, yes, as we work within our budget, be able to possibly reimburse them for part of their paramedic school, which is very expensive. So
I just want to make sure on that
yes.
fee, so we didn't exceed or go under. Just to double check on that. Thanks.
No, thank you. Any questions on that one?
No, I mean, I'm so excited with all the good things that's going on with that your program. I think we have come a long way, and sometimes we're still hearing the bad things, but we're doing lots of good things.
We're doing lots more good things than bad.
We are doing really good. It's amazing all the what I learned by just coming and visiting you guys and see how creative you are with your space, and it feels so welcome being there. So
thank you.
And I think it's a good idea to, when people pay a little bit, they appreciate it and it better sometimes, and it's a benefit, for our way around to have them trained, but also sometimes they go work someplace else and they do have that skill, so it'll be a nice. So I think it's a win-win all around. Yeah. So
we will still, just as a point of reference, we will still be charging for our baseline EMT class. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty nominal amount as well. Last class, when we did some numbers, we came around $700 with the number of students that we had in that, which coincidentally, we have hired, I think, all but 3 that went through our program. So that was very successful as well.
I have a question about this. How is the volunteer people, the ones that just join in order to have the insurance? Did you have many of those?
I think right now we have 3 or 4. We do have a few that have expressed interest that just came into the department. They're going to be reevaluated through UCA, that program, to be able to be eligible for that. So we have to look at their coverage and make sure that they've met those requirements. But we do have at least 2 I know of that are very interested in that program moving forward.
An amazing program for them to be able to have.
Yeah, I wish I could have it.
For the whole family insurance.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. So do we have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the contract.
Commissioner Harvey, do you want to second the motion?
Yes, I'll second the motion to approve.
Okay, so we have a motion, no more questions. All in favor say aye.
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 So it passed unanimously. Thank you. I'm sure you have some more things, I think.
Yep.
He does. This next one, consideration and approval of the updated mutual aid agreement between the Utah Navajo Health System and San Juan County. This is for its updated contract for coverage south of Highway 191.
So the document that I put in your packet just has the red line of basically what we've changed. This was the document we had prior to now, and in the past, Bluff Ambulance, as part of our system, has went south on 191, so across the river, up to approximately milepost number 12. Due to the recent changes in our Bluff Ambulance certification of moving that to an emergency medical responder unit instead of a certified EMT unit or transporting unit, we've talked to UNHS about taking that area. It really makes sense that it's in their area. They cover everywhere else further down the road in that area anyways. They're much closer to cover that area than our Blanding unit. And so I've talked with those guys. We drew up this and just need to amend this mutual aid agreement with those changes.
Do you have a comment? No, sounds good. I think people waiting for service is very critical.
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay, do you have a motion?
I'll motion to approve the consideration and approval of the agreement between UNHS and San Juan County.
Commissioner Harvey, do you have a
I'll second the motion. I'm very grateful for this amendment.
Okay, and so all in favor say aye.
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 Passes.
Okay. That
So
one was approved.
it's approved.
All right, so consideration, next item 11. Consideration and approval of the Emergency Medical Services Standby Service Agreement.
So we put this agreement together at the kind of advice of the rural EMS directors of Utah. There's some recent legislation regarding mass gatherings and some other things that we wanted to just have a formal agreement in place. We've never had anything in place, and so when I went back through looking at some of our standby agreement services, what we were doing is some people get charged X, some people get charged Y, and it just kind of depends. And so we want it to be a more formal process of this is what we're going to charge. These are the services we're going to provide, so that there's no question about what we are doing or not doing while we're there, and what the person who's paying us to be there gets out of that agreement as well.
So, and I'm sure all these have been looked by our county attorney.
I did send we did send these all to the county attorney, and we did get some feedback on the training one. We didn't actually. All these ones went through without having to get changed.
Any questions? Have a motion?
Commissioner,
Oh,
if I may interject here, I'm just wondering, Jeremy, by coincidence, we have the fee schedule open today to adjust the landfill fees. Do you know if, and I haven't had a chance to really look on this, the standby service fees that you're charging in here, do they mimic those fees that are approved in that ordinance?
I would not know. I didn't even know they were in there.
Okay.
I didn't know we'd actually, if we have established fees in that ordinance previous, I was unaware of them because we were completely shooting from the hip.
Okay, so you do have
Okay.
a section of EMS in that ordinance. Sorry, I should have caught
so
this a
if
little
we
bit
make
sooner.
the motion and pass it, can we do it with the change of the fees or not? We have to
We
bump
have
it
to have a
to,
new contract.
So where this one is the agreement that you'll use in the future, right? Okay.
There's no urgency to it, so if we
you
need
can
to
come
do,
back again.
I could come back
We'd like
next.
to see you.
Because, like, just for example, I just in the ordinance we have EMS standby fees, ambulance 3-hour minimum, $125 an hour. On here you've got $200 with a minimum charge of 2 hours.
Right.
And so there's just some.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't realize that was in
No,
there.
you're-
So we would have tried to catch that before.
You're document. So,
Okay,
Probably
so
just
we'll
table
table
it.
it
okay.
for next,
Perfect.
till next meeting.
Perfect. Just while I have you guys for just a second, I'll give you like 3-minute update, just kind of what we're doing. So, I'm pretty excited and I appreciate your comments about EMS. I'm pretty excited about where we are. We've been able to add quite a significant number to our staff. I think when I took over in October, we were at our lowest. I want to say around 15 to 20 of our providers. Today, we have 40. So we're still struggling with some of our transport coverage and some of those things, but we to date have not missed a 911 call, and we're pretty proud of that, and our team is doing amazing. The other thing that happened since I've been able to meet with you guys before, I got elected or nominated or voluntold to be on the executive board for the Rural EMS Association of Utah. I was pretty honored to be chosen for that, so I will be their president-elect. So I'll serve on the executive board for 2 years as the elect, and then 2 years as the president of that for that organization. Some of the things that they're working on is just like our number one priorities, of course, are funding rural EMS and sustainable funding. That's not just on the back of our local taxpayers. So one of the things we're paying really close attention to right now is the Big Beautiful Bill does have some health transformation stuff that's in there, and we are working with DHHS right now to make sure, and we do have a seat at the table through this board or through this group. So that's something that we're pretty excited about, and we'll be working on that. That's about $100 million a year that comes to the state of Utah over the next 5 years, so through that bill. Like Tranter said, we did finish the fire contract. That was quite a challenge for our staff, but again, we never missed a 911 call during that time. And we were able to submit for quite a substantial reimbursement, so we're pretty excited about that, and hoping that we'll, when we get some of that, maybe we can use that for a couple capital improvements that we didn't anticipate. But
how about your transport vehicle to transport anything latest on that?
I don't have anything updated on there. One of the things with the fire, potentially with the fire reimbursement, if we can't get a brand new vehicle, we do have one of our vehicles that we'd like to make a modification to our loading system, so it'd be safer for our people to take transfers in. It'd be more comfortable for the patients as well, because it's not one of our 4-wheel drive rigs. And for about $20,000, we can make a modification to it that would work really well. So
it can be a beginner where you start
Yep.
generating money,
Yep.
but you can put to something new. So.
Yep, and that's what we're doing, is just looking not really at a Band-Aid, but I think it'd be actually a really good solution to our
Yeah.
problem.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
Okay, we would need a motion to table
Fine.
that one.
Right, Jerry. So we have the motion to table it?
Yeah, hey Jade, congratulations.
Fine, Jerry. Okay, we have a motion to table to the next meeting.
So I make a motion to table the
Item number 11.
EMS standby services agreement number 11.
Okay, so any.
Next meeting or?
Yes, till the
Yeah,
next meeting.
That's the rules that we read today. They will bump to the next meeting. So all in favor say aye.
We gotta get
I'll second the motion before we
second the
vote,
motion,
Madam
okay,
Chair.
You're not watching the boiling pot. Anyway, thank you. So all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you.
Okay, so the motion carries on that one. So item number 12 is consideration and approval of the State of Utah contract between the Department of Cultural and Community Engagement, State Library Division, and San Juan County for the Bar Support Grant. Nicole is here to
Okay.
present this one.
This is just a grant that we've applied for and received for the last, 4 years or so, probably actually since 2020. And it just covers the cost of the postage and any related expenses when we borrow from other libraries that participate. which is a huge support for us because our libraries are smaller, some of them closet size, and we don't have the shelving that a lot of others do, and we can meet the needs of specialty items and broader needs of our patrons. They have increased it this year from, I think we got it, last year's was just under $6,000, and this year it's just under $9,000 because we've continued to expand the program a little bit. Anyway, every little bit helps to cover the cost, so I'm just asking for your approval. So.
Do you want to make a motion?
Sure. A motion to consider the contract between the library and the state.
And this is actually a federal loan, but it is managed by the state.
Oh.
So but that's correct. That
Okay.
I just
Thanks.
okay.
Any Commissioner Harvey, do you want to second it?
I'll second to approve, right,
Yes.
Commissioner?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right.
So all in favor say aye.
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 You are so good
Thank
at we passed.
All
You're
right.
so good at making stretching your dollars. I wanted
We
to
try. Helps having a big
Anyway,
family. You
so-
have to make that dollar stretch.
Anyway, we'll see you bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks.
Okay, item number 13, consideration and approval of letter support for treatment of unhealthy forest lands.
Good afternoon. Well, Commissioner Mon had asked me to contact Garfield County and see if we could support their efforts to get some action, some positive actions for treatments on their forest lands to restore their forest to healthier conditions. Evidently, Garfield County has some extensive areas of dead or dying timber, and they actually have a local contractor or two who would like to harvest that dead timber and use that in various products, whether timber or mulch. But they haven't been able to get Forest Service approval to do this kind of work. So Garfield County is, I think, asking other counties to support them in this effort. And most recently, I think it was just last Friday, a resolution was passed by the 5-county group in southwestern Utah to try to get some action to restore forests to healthier conditions. So our county, in our forest, we have some areas, probably not as extensive as maybe some of the other parts of the state, but we do have some areas of dead and dying timber that could use some treatment because, as you can see, or aware, that would create a wildfire, potential for a wildfire condition catastrophically. It's a blight on the scenery of the area, and it doesn't do much for watershed protection. So this letter before you basically supports Garfield County's position and also notes our similar conditions and asks for the Forest Service to be more active in restoring forests to healthy condition. If you approve this letter, Commissioner Pollock of Garfield County would hand carry this letter to the Forest Service chief in early next month, along with, I suppose, other county letters to make a pitch for more active management on our local forests.
I never hear that name. I know him by another name.
Leland?
Leland. Anyway, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the letter of support.
Commissioner Harvey.
I second the motion to approve the letter.
Okay, so without any more comments, shall we vote? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, so we all voted in agreement. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks,
helping with
Nick.
that.
Later on, I'll be talking about something else similar to this, but I'll do it during my report. And I'll talk to you later about
Okay, all right, thank you.
more letters of support. Anyway,
right.
thank you. Okay.
Okay, item number 14, consideration and approval of the Integrated Viral Hepatitis Surveillance and Prevention Agreement between San Juan County, State of Utah Department of Health and Human Services. This one is amendment number 5. Mike has asked to be excused today. He had a dental appointment that he could not get out of. And so, with that being said, kind of in the staff report, what you see on this, so this is all HIV hepatitis surveillance that covers both A, B, and C forms of hepatitis. The adjustment on the contract, the original amount was $3,497. It's being increased through federal funds for $1,498. So the total amount of funding is $4,995. The time period is also extended on here from May 1st of 2025, which is past, but this extends it to April 30th of 2026. In the scope of work of the agreement, it allows for public health to continue preventative measures, preventative awareness, education, as well as tracking. And that's probably one of the most important aspects of this agreement is the tracking that comes through this agreement. So like I mentioned, it does cover the hepatitis A, B, and C forms. In here on your screen, Commissioner Harvey, if you're able to see it, you kind of see those adjustments since 2021 in federal funds that we've received through the state for this program. Any questions? And I can try to answer.
I'll make the motion to approve, and just the correction on the commission signatory line.
So
I was going to let you sign it.
We have corrected that on our side.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and if the chairwoman wants to put her thumbprint on the side as well, that's fine.
Yeah, I can do that. No, I figure I'll let you be responsible for that bill. No. Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any,
I second it.
you say, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so if we don't have any more comments, let's, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so that one passes. Item 15 is consideration and approval of San Juan County Immunizations 2019 contract between the State of Utah Department of Health and Human Services and San Juan County. This is amendment number 6 to it. This one again allows for more additional funds, federal funds and state funds for this. So you have an increase to the contract for $8,465 from the federal funds, and then $15,651.57 in state funds. So the original amount was $148,269. That's now increased by that $24,116.57 to $164,384.57. This one here, obviously, the immunization program, super critical throughout our county. As we get more immunization and vaccines for children, obviously you kind of see on a national level with the measles coming back. Part of these funds can be used for that prevention and vaccinations of children throughout our county. Any questions with this one?
No, I remember when the polio vaccine came when I was a little girl, and how everybody was excited to get the polio and vaccine, and sometimes we don't appreciate as much of the progress we have made. You know, I had the moms, I had so many of those diseases the children don't get anymore because of vaccination, and it's so nice to see the federal money trickling down in more of a generous way. We hear it in the news, you know, they're cutting everything, but we are seeing good money coming to our county for good programs with increase, which is a good thing. So, any comments? Anybody else comments? We have a motion.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
the motion passes.
Okay. Item number, let's see,
Trying to figure out which
just making sure. So 16,
16.
consideration.
Yes, 16, yeah.
I need a pointer.
Oh, let me help you. It's 16.
So consideration and approval of the state of Utah contract between the Department of Environmental Quality Division of Waste Management and Radiation Control, San Juan County, for the health department for used oil services in our county. And this is really for our environmental health scientist. He was unable to make it today and couldn't present either on this, but on this contract is to provide funding for the goal of protecting public health and the environment from exposure to contamination caused by incidents of improper management of used oil. The objectives behind this contract, and this is a new contract, not an amendment, is to inspect 100% of the used oil collection centers every 6 months, submit an inspection report with corresponding documentation back to the state. Also, it's to ensure used oil incidents, the spills or complaints, and allegations are addressed in a timely and an appropriate manner. This one here for the Public Health Department has a contract amount of $1,078 for the cost outlined in the contract, so it doesn't give us a lot of funding for the measures, but I know that in the past, just working in a construction family, it used to be where we would burn oil or, dump oil out back in the ground, but this is really on that education and awareness and prevention side of it that's needed throughout the county.
Any questions?
I do. I have a question. So, how many inspections would this include? I guess we don't know unless Mike were here.
Let me see if there's anything on the scope.
The only reason I ask is because, is it hundreds? Is it some? Is it?
We don't have that many oil, Jim. Like
Yeah,
we
it
used to
doesn't give
have
us.
probably.
Hold on, let me jump
Is that
in
like
here.
restaurants included? Is it like
The county has 4 of those
I think it's just the
where are they located?
at all the landfills and the transfer stations.
So that's what we're talking about. Are those
Yours?
oil deposits at the landfill?
and like the Napa.
You have like local service stations.
Mhm.
Yeah, that.
Collection centers.
So is it like petroleum oil, or is it also like restaurants with used oil? Motor oil. Okay.
And also there's cooking oil involved
Yeah.
from restaurants.
It just says used
Okay.
oil. It doesn't give in. It doesn't get into.
And your county health inspector goes around and inspects all those, and that's what that contract.
So I just was curious exactly what the scope of the oil was. So Okay.
And then their hills. So
that makes
on
sense.
Here for
So anything that's collected, I guess what I'm saying is probably anything that is collected that has to be collected by law.
at the
Okay.
collection sites.
Yes.
And the collection sites are approved.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they've got to log the gallons of the used oil collected
Okay.
by the used oil collection center. And then we've got to report that. So on here,
Okay.
when you look at the goals and the objectives,
Yes.
on here you've got inspect
6
100%
months.
of the oil collection centers every 6 months and submit an inspection report
Okay.
with the corresponding documentation. So to me, when I translate that in my mind, like, okay, how do we act this? So they would be going out, checking those center
Right.
basically twice a year. So every 6 months. And then report the gallon usage and collection to the state.
The DEQ requires it every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Okay. Okay.
That's what DEQ is requiring on here.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
we got to fill out their paper logs and then submit it back up. So twice a year of those collection sites.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Nope.
So do we have a motion?
Here's the answer to your question.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
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 The motion passed.
Okay. Awesome. So, item number 17. Consideration and approval of letter support for asphalt pump truck and bike playground project for Blanding City Visitor Center.
Can you put the pictures there?
Right here. This one?
Yeah, well, the different pictures. Anyway, I got excited about this. The city of Blanding. I presented a letter of support for the city of Blanding. They're going to be doing. You can see the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they have. This is actually what they're going to look like. It's just ideas. They're applying for an outdoor youth grant, and they can be simple as children riding tricycles. It can be as complicated as having competitions, and so basically it's a skate park or bike park, and they have different designs. They have some that are very, very intricate, like this one here at the bottom, and they have competition, and it's going to be located at the park by the Welcome Center there by Maverick. This is a one more complicated, and so they don't have the design right now. They are just basically applying for the grant, and so Ben requested talk to me about doing a little support for that, and I'm excited about it. I think this is so nice to have that. The park is an amazing, well-used park there with visitors and local people. So I was excited to go learn about them and how popular they're becoming. And so some of these are in Florida and other areas, but anyway. So do we have any questions about the letter?
I don't have any questions, but I'll make a motion to approve the letter of support.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey.
I second the motion to approve the letter of support.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So all in favor say aye.
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 The motion passes.
Okay. Item 18, consideration and approval of the 2024 certification of the annual independent audit for San Juan Counseling. Tammy is here today to present the audit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So I just have my fiscal year audit that I need to have you guys sign off on. There's a couple of highlights. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look through it, but the financial highlights are on page 4. It basically says our revenues were increased a little bit. Our expenses went down a little bit, which is kind of a good thing. You want to be that way in business. It gives you a little bit of cushion to carry over from year to year. So we had another good year, which we're happy about. We're a little bit nervous coming up in the next couple years with some change in federal funding and change in Medicaid, but we're happy we have the cushion there to help us get through. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to look over it, if you have any questions about our audit.
So I just have a question. Is this a surprise audit or you're prepared for it?
Oh, we're prepared for it. We do this yearly. We pay money to have independent auditors come in and look through our books and audit it, and our auditors are pretty good. They're easy to work with, and they're really good at teaching me too and helping me find and look for those things and make sure I'm on the right track. So this one is not a surprise audit. We know it's coming every year.
I know there's certain like OSHA and different things like that sometimes can be surprised. So somebody was saying if you have them regular, then it's better than have them surprised. But I was just curious about this. But Any comments?
So, actually, I've dealt with this company before, so this report is very familiar looking. But I didn't see anything. You know how they summarize?
Yeah.
And nothing, Larry. You and recall. I looked at it, but I'm just thinking you didn't have any fixes they recommended.
No, we did
I
not
didn't
have
see
any. Yeah, there
So-
was nothing in the management letter.
yeah.
No findings.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good, clean audit, and
Yeah.
That's really good.
which is what we like. They're not always clean. I expect auditors to find something. I'm not perfect, but it was a pretty good one.
Nice work. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey, do you have any question?
No, just a motion to approve or certify the audit.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just need to have you sign this paper.
All of us do.
I think all of you. I don't know. Yeah, might as well. Everyone that's here, go ahead and sign it, so I can submit it to the state.
Commissioner Harvey, are we okay to use your stamp on it?
Yes, happy to share my stamp.
Okay.
Just for Tammy.
Just for Tammy.
I appreciate that.
So Rosa can stamp it.
Guess Rosa can do it for you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you
Tammy.
so much, and for all your work and all the good things that are happening.
Well, and always thank you for your support. It's financially good years, but we always have rough years trying to manage everything that we have to deal with, and we just keep working with the communities and trying to get the help out there that is needed. So we appreciate your guys' support.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tammy. Okay, item 19, you've got consideration and approval of the ingress, egress, and right of entry consent for mine closures between Abandoned Mine Reclamation Program and San Juan County. This one here, once the mouse lets me click on it. So you kind of see the letter that we received from the Department of Natural Resources Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining regarding property that we own. They're in Cane Creek. Previously, we received just an awareness throughout the county. There's a concerted effort from the Department of Natural Resources to close the old and abandoned mines throughout our county. These ones here are specific to us on our Lucky Strike #2 claim. We are the landowner for this property here, and so they would like to come in and close these old abandoned mines that we have on this property. When you look at the map, and I tried to figure out where this is. This is to the north, northern portion of the county. Let me get through all the federal closure regulations.
I guess they're kind of dangerous to have those, but it used to be that was fun for the guys, for the boys to go there. I'm sure somebody here had gone to those mines.
No, have you?
No.
The Lucky Strike. It's been abandoned and closed.
Well, that one, no, but I have been to.
I even have a story that's funny about that. But.
So literally, they just want to come in and close those old abandoned mines, which is kind of a good thing overall.
Okay, so there's nothing there that we can harvest. Just for safety, they're doing for safety.
Safety.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think of kind of when you look at the overall concept for, say, for example, Lisbon Valley Mine, they're required to put so much funds towards the state on how much they extract, and that extraction can pays for these type of opportunities from old mining claims and open mines. So that's what those funds are utilized. This is similar to what we do at the landfill. As we open the landfill pits, we also have to send the state money for reclamation or closure if we don't do it. And so that's kind of what helps pay for these.
Okay, sounds good. I'm trying to decide if I should talk. I'll tell a story very quickly because I fallen asleep and I need to wake up. There was this young guy, he decided to go confess that he had done something with a mine. And so he's telling his bishop, and the bishop said, well, that he can describe the whole operation side. The bishop was the owner of the mine, that he has taken all these dynamites and mines. Anyway, but he was trying to repent and find the owner, confessing to the owner of the mine. Anyway, but so we don't have any more of those stories. When I came to Blanding, I mean, we were young. We sat around the older people, and they were telling guys would tell the funny story how they took watermelons and how they did that. But no. Anyway, anybody have any questions or comments?
So I'll make a motion. Are you ready? Sorry.
Yeah, for the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the ingress-egress mine closure agreement.
I'll second the motion to approve.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 The motion passes.
Okay. Item number 20, consideration and approval of a resolution of the San Juan County Commission approving the filing of cross appeals to 2025 appeal filed by taxpayers subject to centrally assessed. So on this one here, this is a resolution. We have two appeals that are from centrally assessed companies that are contesting their tax assessments for 2025. We've got Mid America Pipeline LLC and Pacific Core Incorporated. These are kind of common names that every year we get this appeal from them on their taxes. With the appeal, this resolution authorizes our attorney, and we've used Thomas W. Peters, Esquire, and his law firm to act on our behalf in these appeals. And this is an attorney that is hired through UAC. So when you think of centrally assessed, these touch on multiple counties. So not just San Juan County, it's multiple Grand County, but like Pacificor goes all throughout the state. And so all the counties utilize Thomas Peters as the attorney representing all of us collectively in a whole on these cross appeals. And so this resolution really just authorizes him to represent San Juan County. I've sat in some of these appeals if you ever want to watch a boring meeting, but it's interesting when you're geeky government types because Thomas is super knowledgeable about taxes and centrally assessed taxes and some of the arguments that they present to the tax commission's attorney. So you got the tax commission who kind of sets the centrally assessed rates. They come in and the parties appeal those centrally assessed tax evaluations, and then they go about arguing. I've always liked Thomas's approach in just his mannerism, the way he handles himself, but more importantly, the knowledge on taxes and centrally assessed taxes, which are a little bit different form than what we would see here from the Board of Equalization and those hearings on individual property taxes. And so super knowledgeable about going this. If we do not use Thomas with these appeals for San Juan County, we would have to look out for another attorney, and that's kind of why UAC has formed collectively with this agency to provide centrally assessed.
Well, it makes sense when you have several counties,
Yes, yep. And you've seen him come through and present. He will also come back on anything that's settled or before it's settled, so that we can get those final approvals.
So UAC actually did kind of a training last week, I believe. It was about a 2-hour training regarding centrally assessed and kind of formulating a think tank. And they brought in Senator Colomore and a representative, one of them, and Senator Owens. And the whole idea is to discuss this whole process of this appeal and the centrally assessed. And so there were several ideas that were formulated, and that discussion will continue, which I think is hopefully to benefit the counties. But one of the things we need to probably think ahead in the future is that when all the counties are discussing the same, like Mid-America Pipeline or Pacific Core,
These two specifically.
then trying
yes.
to join the forces and trying to work together with this. So it'll be an interesting continuing conversation that will be going on with this think tank, because we will meet again on this. But to try and work, because they feel a little distance with the state tax commission and the process on how to handle it, I would actually like it to be more locally driven and how they want it driven. So just some information on that and trying to keep our eyes on
what
it.
happened with Carbon County.
Yeah.
Carbon County, the state came and they reduced the value of the mine by millions and millions of dollars, which is going to hurt the county a lot. And so it had to be representation from the counties to be able to defend from that. And it's interesting because they were, in the 7 counties commissioner, the commission from that area was saying they raised the taxes for the public, for the citizen, way high, but they depreciated the value of the mine by millions and millions of dollars. So they're going to be hurting. So
that is always the challenge when you take. So when we certify the rate, and you guys certified the rate in last commission meeting, that rate kind of guarantees the county X amount of dollars and the school district, all that pie of tax collection and those entities. When you take essentially assessed dispute and they get a lower amount, kind of shifts the burden from centrally assessed on to your individual property tax owners. So it's a disproportionate share, and so that's what Commissioner Juan is talking about. Is a lot of the arguments on there is, these company, Pacific Core, Mid-American Pipeline, can hire the best of the best in attorneys, and they can dispute. They can show profit and loss, through how much they supply.
They came up to zero.
Yes, but yet the individual property, I can't go in and use that same type of information, profit and loss. I need my taxes lower. We don't get that same argument. So it's a disproportionate distribution and collection of taxes. And so we would like to see that shift back from individual property owners higher to centrally assessed. And that's the mechanism that they're trying to work on to get that, so that it's equitable between individual property owners and these large companies that.
Well, especially senior citizens, they have bought a home long time ago, and they get assessed by one of the
taxes go up.
grandchild's building, which costs a lot more money. So it's anyway. So any more comments, Commissioner Harvey?
No comments.
Anybody want to make a motion?
He's going to.
I'll make it. The chair second. No,
Oh, you can.
no, just kidding. No, you can.
I will make a motion to approve this resolution for the appeals. I just didn't want to make them all.
We have a motion. We have a second.
You want a second, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Go for it.
Oh, you want me to second it? Well, I'm learning that I can do that, but I just want to save it for a better opportunity. But no, you can go ahead and second it.
Okay, then I'll second to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes.
Okay. On to item 21, consideration and approval of interlocal agreement between Monticello City and San Juan County for building inspection services appreciate Megan and Caden staying here through our whole commission meeting because they don't have meetings to go to. But I appreciate them and their help with this. They have asked the county, and we have in the past, to perform those building inspection services. With that, with the law changing this last year, requiring cities and counties to designate a building official for this contract and agreement with Monticello City kind of helps them satisfy that need as well of having an actual building official named. And so it's kind of been a long time coming in this agreement. There are just some minor typo changes that have come since we pushed this to the attorney, mainly just county spelled wrong or things like that. Nothing legally structural that has really changed from the agreement, but other than that, that's kind of it. It's just getting us back into that contract for building inspection services. So the process, and it's kind of similar how we've had it in the past with Bluff, as well as individual citizens first go to the cities themselves. So an individual needing a building permit goes to the city, and they fill out the city's applications, and then the city coordinates with our building inspector to schedule the building inspection piece, and that's it. So that's all that this contract covers. In here, it does recognize the fact that we have, a large county project that's coming up. That through this agreement, we will be using the county building inspector to inspect on that large project. But yet, there are fees that are appropriate because we will have to fill out an application to Monticello City. They will have to process that application for a building permit. They have graciously, and I appreciate the opportunity and language in the agreement that, we can ask the city council to waive those fees, because obviously a $26 million project is going to be pretty expensive, and we're trying to save as much money as we can on that project to keep within the budget that we have going forward. But there are those opportunities where we can work together, and that's probably the thing that I like most is when you look at such a small county, but rather large in size, just the coordination and everything that this agreement provides, where we can help them and they can help us in these opportunities to build the whole. And so with that, that's all I have. And if you have any questions.
I have a question about the total between the hospital and the jail. How much money how many million is for building permits or whatever? How much is the prison? How much the cost of it?
So we would look at, typically the building permit fees, application fees are based off of, I believe you guys go off of square footage. Okay, but go ahead, make it. Okay, Caden's saying yes, Megan's saying yes.
No,
maybe.
We go based off of valuation.
Okay.
So
zero value.
$26 million. Yeah, so we go based off of valuation. I was looking at your guys's, and you guys go based off of square footage. So in this contract, the city will mimic a lot of the counties as far as inspections and plan review, but we will keep our building fee permit off of the valuation and not go based off of square footage like the county.
So Megan's done a really good job kind of going along with that. Is statistically they've spent about $6,000 a year on our services, and so they've got it. How many times we inspected throughout the past? I think going back to 2021.
Yeah, we went back to 2021 to current, even though so far this calendar year we've not utilized the county for any inspections.
Correct. Yes, and so part of that is just looking at that value of how much we've spent in the past, and then kind of going forward. It does allow us to come back if we know all of a sudden, say there's this housing boom here, and all of a sudden we're building more housing than was anticipated, or more businesses, could be both. Then we can come back, allows us to amend this agreement based off of the fees and everything that we have for our fee schedule on inspections.
Yeah. So on average, it's about 50 inspections a year. This agreement goes between, so if we have lower than 35 or higher than 75, the fees would be evaluated at that point. There's attachment A that kind of breaks it all out. Kaden put that together, thankfully.
I was gonna say.
Okay. I like it. For example.
He does the numbers.
And like on average, like residential new builds are 8 inspections. And so when you get new builds in the community, like you rack up those inspections really quickly. So.
And I think our highest inspection load that we've had since 2021 was 75.
I think 2021 was the highest and it was 75, and the lowest we've had was 34.
I want to say 38.
38, which was 2022.
No, I did have a discussion with our building inspector and just just asking in general, okay, well, capacity wise, do you have the capacity to cover this contract and meet the demand? Because by state law, you have a time frame when you have to get out there and do these and perform these inspections. And so he had mentioned that it is definitely well within his bandwidth to cover the Monticello inspections as well as what we're doing as a county.
And so you guys are probably already aware, but legally you have 14 business days to do a plan review and kick it back out, and then 3 business days when requested for an inspection.
Anyway, Commissioner Mon has that comment.
So, I have some concerns with the contract at this point. So, because you said you talked with our building official, I've had a very thorough conversation with our building official, and there's some discrepancies. So I guess what I'm asking is that before we I don't want to say burden, but accept on his behalf to take on this contract and additional responsibilities, that we table this until our next meeting and we actually have that conversation with some of the glaring things in the contract that has raised some red flags. I'm just not comfortable signing this or agreeing to the contract until we've had all parties at the table. Because I'm getting very mixed messages, and especially kind of what you guys have been told, what he's been told, what I've been told. So I think until we come to that consensus, I think we need to have a sit down and a meeting. So I'm requesting that this be tabled till our next meeting, until those issues are solved and everybody is, because I really feel like pushing this through, we are speaking in his behalf and he's not here. And I would rather either he's here during this conversation or that we have sat down with him and we're clear on all items.
What you say, what you've been told is by attorney, is that the?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about our building official.
Okay, no, I was just wondering.
On that department.
Okay,
He's
I
listening.
think it's important that we all be on the table, sometimes I
agree.
find that things after they're done.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, Corey did he sent it to the planning and zoning director, and it was forwarded to Kaden and I about a couple of concerns. And we sat down and worked through those concerns. I'm not sure if he...
So I don't
anyway,
know
I felt like he was feeling comfortable, but I'm
not.
not sure if he's online that he could speak to his concerns so that it's something we can get resolved.
But I've looked at the contract. I've seen some of those things. I mean, there's just a lot of things I think we need to hammer out before we sign on this and agree with this.
Is he here the way we can call him? He can answer the questions now or not?
He mentions he's listening on here. That was at 1:10.
I don't know if he's still on here. Go ahead.
Lost your planning director.
Yeah,
Since
true.
In between.
So do you think that's what?
No, I mean, I don't want to speak specifically. I mean, they brought to me some of the things that are highlighted, but it's a list. It's a very long list. So I think we really probably should go through their list. But I think that is going to need to be in a meeting and a sit down meeting.
Okay.
So I think to be fair on both sides, so that we're not speaking for him. If we're expecting this individual to do the work, then I really think that that he should be definitely at the table with this conversation with all of us. So I'm not saying I'm opposed. I'm
So
just
he
saying I
gives
would
you-
rather we all.
He gives you the list. Is he the one that gives you
Yes.
the list to you?
But I don't want to speak in his
No,
behalf.
I know.
So
I just
mhm.
wonder how come they didn't come. We should have had that before this. But
Did
anyway.
did he reach out to you this?
Yeah, I spoke with him last week.
Yeah. So I'm wondering.
So I
when
did
was
get an email on August 4th regarding a bunch of things that he wanted clarified, which we sat down and hammered out and put into the contract. So the email was sent on August 4th. We hammered it out and put it into the contract on August 12th. The document was sent back out to the planning and zoning administrator on the 13th, who then, and to Mac, who said that it was forwarded also to the building inspector. I spoke with him on Friday and he hadn't read the contract yet, but I let him know that we had gone over a lot of the concerns that were addressed in the email.
And I spoke to him Friday as well. He had mentioned to me that anything on there, he understood the fact that the agreement can be amended, and that if there were changes that we would come back on an amendment.
I would prefer, rather than coming back on an amendment, that we table it until it's right, till it's correct.
So when was his
Because,
list?
well, on August 13th, it does say, this did go to Kristen from you, that I can schedule a meeting with all of us to discuss before we push this to attorneys for review, which I don't know if that meeting took place with the attorneys and with Corey and with you, because this was.
I've been talking to Corey, kind of consistent on this one.
So.
As of Friday, I even asked him if he wanted to present it, but he was busy today with scheduled.
Okay. So anyhow, that's my request. I'm requesting that we table it till we're all at the table and have a further discussion, just because the concerns. Because it sounds like, I mean, we've all had some conversation
Well,
and it's
haven't-
not completely.
I never had any conversation.
Yeah.
I have never. I mean, I
And I think that it might be hard because, like you said, that Corey's coming in after the fact that this has been a contract that's been in progress for several years now. It was actually ready to be presented and approved in January, and then you guys went through a personnel change,
Sure.
and so then it kind of just fell off, and here we are just trying to bring it back. So, I mean.
Which I don't disagree with that. I just guess if I don't feel it's right that we are the spokesperson for the individual who will be performing that work. I think we need his perspective on.
So is he online? Is he in the office?
He's not responding to my text. He's out in the field right now.
So-
Yeah, it's just confusing to me because the conversation I had with him on Friday, it seemed that he had felt comfortable and that,
And that
again,
was
like
the
if there was
conversation
something
I
that
had.
came up, because there is some things that might come up, that there was the ability to amend those issues. So it's just hard because I feel like we keep kicking a can down a road, and if we keep stopping every time there's personnel changeover, I'm like losing faith that we'll ever get to the point where we can settle it. You know what I'm saying?
And like I say, we can definitely bring it back next meeting. I have no problem with that, but with some more input on it.
Okay.
And I think one thing too we need to consider is that his credentials. I mean, he's extremely credentialed, more than anyone we've ever had, and so. You know, what's the value on those credentials? I mean, I'm throwing that out there, and that might be a concern of his as well. So, but I just think if we just had 2 weeks on it, we could have a discussion to do that. But that's just my thought on it.
Okay, yeah, I spoke to him
I
Friday,
mean-
and I was the same with Megan.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's
And I think
go
what we
ahead
need
with
to.
it. And
One of the things we have problems, people that trying to present or are part of it don't show up. So I think when we have a meeting and involves them, they should be available at the meeting here.
well, and to Corey's, I mean, Corey mentioned that he wasn't.
And I know, and I
available,
understand
so-
that this working. So
Yeah.
so what we have to figure out, make sure that he can be here next time. It may
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
all day because a meeting takes all day. Do you know what I mean? And so I need to, and that's the thing. Sometimes we have presentations that come before us, and the people that's presenting is not here, or should be answering questions or whatever.
So do you
Anyway,
know the concerns were the concerns over the fee, or you say you have a list? So when I spoke to him Friday, he's like, well, this can be amended in the future.
I
So we
gonna-
go through on.
I think there's some more
Because
technical
that's
points
it.
in the contract that need to be clarified, if anything. That's what I think it really is. I think it's just some paragraphs in there that maybe if we have legal in the room, that we can just clarify everything
Did
on
Mitch already
that.
approve this, Matt? Did he see
It's gone through Mitt. So we had Mitt, kind of like Megan had mentioned, we've been working on this for a while now. It originated out of the county attorney's office as well. So we've had him look at it. The changes on here have been minor on there, and so we pushed it back to him. But it was initially, back in January, we had him reviewing it as well.
So there was just some clarification things that Corey had sent. So like defining that the county would act as the city's building official, because you do have to have
Language in there to represent.
yeah,
the
language in there
state
to
code.
represent it. And then just like I said earlier, is who fee schedule applies. So we clarified that in here. Who collects, we clarified that in here. How
And I
revenue
think
is
there's
shared
some
and
questions on
remitted,
that.
and we clarified it.
So after
How
you
stop work orders are
clarify, did it go
initiated.
back to him?
Yeah, Corey had the
When did that go back to him?
on Wednesday last week.
So anyhow, I just think if there's that many questions and that many concerns, maybe we need to look at it a little more thoroughly. Which would just put us 2 weeks down the road.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not months.
I'll agree, whatever, but I think, like I say, if we're gonna be on the agenda, we need to have somebody here that can answer this kind of question. Because lots of time we don't.
Well, and I think
And
that's
so I
part of
think-
the answer is when I spoke to Corey, he was okay with it, so I proceeded. And so, but that was Friday. I don't know.
And my conversation was late last night, so it's
Was
already
last
on the
week?
agenda. Late last night.
Okay, last night.
So it's not like I had information for days and days and days. So
Okay. It's up to you,
Commissioner Harvey, do you
Commissioners.
have any comment? I don't know if you're still there.
Hold on, let's see.
it's kind of still there.
He's still on.
Anyway,
Commissioner Harvey, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. So we're just entertaining the contract right now, right? Is that what we're
Correct.
doing?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. And the confusion is on the language in the contract?
I think there's some language issues. It might even be the fee, the reimbursement for him. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. We probably should clarify it. I'm just asking 2 weeks for a meeting, and then we can have it all ironed out when it comes back. So
the
I
fee-
would rather table
Megan,
it.
Would we disrupt you in any way if we were to pin this for another 2 weeks? What are you thinking?
I mean, it would be. We're just kind of in limbo at this point, trying to get this resolved. So we've entertained hiring a position for this. And like I said, it's just something that we've been trying to get taken care of for several years, and it just keeps kind of falling through the cracks. So, I mean, obviously, I would be frustrated because of how long we've been trying to get this taken care of. And that I was under the impression when I talked to Corey, and he told me, you know, if I have any other concerns that I'll call you. And Corey and I have worked together for a while now. And so I mean,
so do you
Let me
think
just shed
is the
some light
que-
on the fee.
Is the concern is that he wants more money?
So
or-
there is an issue with the fees that Corey has brought up, and we've had some conversations there. When we set up our fee structure, and you kind of heard from Mr. Black today. When we set up our fee structure, he says, Corey had mentioned that there's a different fee structure out there that he would recommend. So right now we're following the county's ordinance in the fee structure. Corey would like to recommend a different fee structure for planning and zoning, and so when I spoke to Corey Friday, he was like, "Well, okay, I'm okay with it. We can go forward." I'm like, "Do you want to present?" So it went that far in the process, and so knowing that, what I know is like, okay, Corey's like, we really need to fix the fee structure so that, you know, from what I'm hearing from conversations that I've had with commissioners, and Mr. Black kind of touched on it today, is are our fees too high in the building department and planning and zoning and building department? And so if that is the case, we would have to make adjustments in the future for the schedule. All the fee is based off of that we have in the agreement now is based off of a historical trend. And so we've just how many inspections we performed at, and it's using our current fee structure. So even if, take for example, what we've seen today with EMS is like, if we make this contract and adjust the fee now, you can't where it's in a fee ordinance, so you have to change that as well. And so we wouldn't be able to ask for more when they're basing their fee off of our fee structure. But Corey had mentioned we kind of did it wrong and we need to get it right.
Then maybe we need to do that.
And so that's a future discussion that Corey mentioned that we need to have based off of kind of that holistic look at our fees and what we're charging. And I don't know if that's where he came off Friday, is like, okay, knowing that it can be amended in the future and knowing that conversation that I had with him about fees, it makes sense that in the future, if we do adjust our fees plus or minus, that we could then adjust the contract with Monticello.
So yeah, that is stated in there that for the building inspections and for the plan review, we mimic the county. So if the county decides to reduce their inspection fee to $30, the city of Monticello would reduce their inspection fee to $30. And in return, what the city pays the county would also be reduced because of that fact. Right now it's $65. So I took into account like what we had paid 2022, 2023, and 2024. And it was about $13,000. So average that out. And with this contract, from what we've historically paid, we'd be paying $150 more per month for these services. So again, like we don't average a ton, 30 or less. And one thing that I don't think that's taken into consideration on this that the county has to do themselves is that I do the plan review for the city of Monticello. So I go through, make sure that the documentation is there, check off all of the land use things, and the building inspector doesn't do that. They look at the details of the actual structure itself, and then they perform the inspections. That's all the work. So he doesn't have to go in and sort through if somebody accidentally put in a building permit for a storage container. I take care of that. You guys aren't having to filter, which I know that structure was very different when you guys were doing it with Bluff. It was like the county was doing everything for Bluff, but with the city of Monticello, 80% of that work is done in office before it's even pushed to the building inspector. So again,
then he sees all that paperwork. Is that correct?
So he looks at he should just be looking at the building plans.
Because his signature's on that. So regardless of what is previously done, with his signature on it.
What do you mean his signature?
If he's signing off on that building inspection and you're getting all this done, because really, does that fall under his purview? Like you're saying you're doing all this stuff for the county. Well, technically he's signing off on something that he has to know.
So he goes out and he physically looks at the building inspections, and then he looks at the building plans, but he's not having to check off on land use.
But he would but if his signature's on that, he would have to spend the time to make sure everything is correct, because ultimately he's the one that's being held liable for that signature for that building inspection.
Yeah, for the
Yes.
inspection,
Yes.
yes.
So it's a certified
he
inspector.
would have to take some time
And go through, yes. He
yes,
still has
so
to
Yeah.
that's
plan
yeah.
review.
He would have to plan review anyway. Okay.
I think if it's just a matter of listen to him a little bit, I can see it can work. But if we're gonna go fix and trying to figure out that maybe it costs more money, I think it'll be a longer process than just table and going into the next meeting. I think we have more concern about not being enough money for him to be paid. It'll be bigger than just waiting to the next meeting. So I think because of that, so I don't know how long would take that process. If you feel like maybe we're not paying enough and maybe he need to have more money, then it's a longer process. Can we, if we approve this today, can those things be? I don't know, reverse. I don't know because
So the contract fixes them at $6,000 a year. They'll make 2 installment payments for that $6,000, and that's what they would charge. That's what we would be charging them under the contract, whether or not we equal that average. And so, when you look at that amendment or
Attachment A.
we're looking at $6,000, 2 increments of $3,000 on the fees, and so that's irregardless of
you have any suggestion?
how many inspections.
I think we could just clean up a lot and yeah. I would love to hear what the attorney has to say if you don't mind.
This is, I don't know, it's part legal, but it's part maybe not legal. To me, the biggest factor in this is the change in the department. I mean, we had that meeting this morning talking about, who's involved in the department and what their bandwidth is, what their roles are. And I kind of think this agreement has been coming along and it hasn't accounted for that change. And I do think that the building official has concerns with this arrangement. There's a little bit of a question of, okay, he's a county employee, so what authority does the county have to just put this on? It would probably just be wise to get to the bottom of this question. And, I think one way or another, within 2 weeks, it would be fairly simple to know if there is a problem or not. And if there is a problem, it can either be fixed or it can't. So if if the county feels like, well, we can't really remedy this, then I guess Monticello would go this other route that you've talked about, which is to hire somebody, which is kind of unfortunate because these interlocal agreements help you pull your resources and you save money. Everybody does better.
Yeah.
But they do need to account for the resources that each party has, and I do know that it's a concern right now in the planning with just the 2 of them and some of these changes. I don't know. I think my recommendation would be that it would be a good idea to at least see if you can get to the bottom of this before the next meeting.
And if it doesn't, I mean, the thing is, if we can work together, it's a win-win for both places.
Right.
And we are both poor. We're not rich. There's nobody here. They have the ability. Maybe next year we'll have more money. But when we try to concentrate this year and spend the money, I don't know, maybe we'll make it next year. But anyway, so my thing is that I think sometimes we can avoid some of these things. So if we can be included from the very beginning, not this will be going for a long time, but the latest, and if people come, so we can ask questions and we have all the answer because. But I feel bad because you guys have been working for a long time, and it's and we should be appreciative of your willingness to help us because I see not us helping you guys, but more you helping us because we are having issues with generating funds right now, and so I don't know. If we get able, I think it should be 2 weeks, but we can't keep kicking the can. I mean, that's the thing I feel like. And anyway, we want to be a win-win. They can move forward and have a solution, but I feel like that we are the one that will lose the opportunity to have this deal. So, having said that, I don't know what kind of motion you guys want to make, but I feel like we can't try to. Anyway, I don't know, but I appreciate your comment. I think it's a good thing, but I don't think they can afford the time to keep doing that. And so, anyway, but I don't know what kind of motion people want to make. And Commissioner Harvey, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I'm just ready for a motion.
You want to make a motion?
We have a motion.
Did Lori make a
Oh, did Lori make the motion?
I had made the request so I can make the motion. I just motioned to table this for 2
Right.
weeks until we meet again at commission meeting.
That was the motion.
So that was the
That's
motion.
reasonable. I'll second that. Sounds like we're moving forward with getting the questions answered. And by next commission meeting, we should have those questions
Okay,
Yeah.
I would, we have a motion, a second, and I want to say I would participate in the voting with the idea that we should try to solve this as quick as we can. We cannot drag it past the 2 weeks we have. Anyway, so we have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 The motion passes.
Okie dokie.
Thank you for your patience, your time for coming here. People think you were playing hooky today, going around and come back with nothing, but thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
You can speak
We have a quorum. So on this next one, we do have item number 22, which is under the public hearing. Hey, thanks, you guys. We've got consideration and approval of an amending ordinance to ordinance 2024-4, updating the San Juan County Consolidated Fee Schedule in accordance with Utah Code 17-53-211. So with that being said, you heard the presentation from Jed Tate, our landfill manager. He'd been in last commission meeting and presented the changes from state code that now requires us to start working harder on the public that are not securing their loads, so unsecured loads, untarped loads. With that, he's presented his fee adjustments in there. You had last commission meeting, he presented those adjustments to the fee schedule. When you look at the fee schedule that we have before you,
Matt, this we have to make a motion to go to public hearing.
so discuss first and then make a motion in
Okay.
public hearing. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah, this is just to get this public hearing primed for that. And so, but yeah, thank you for staying on task. And so in here, in the consolidated fee schedules, you see those adjustments that he presented in here. These are the only adjustments that have been made on the fee schedule. So that kind of gives you the preface behind why we're in a public hearing. The public hearing is required anytime you adjust fees to this ordinance. And so we've advertised in the paper, on our website, and the Utah Public Notice that today is the public hearing for these. That is what you have on your agenda for this item. Commissioners, I turn it to you to make a motion to enter into the public hearing and to hear the public that is here or online.
I guess we have a quorum here, just two of us.
You have a quorum, yeah. Commissioner
Okay.
Harvey still.
Commissioner Harvey, you want to make a motion to go into public
Sure,
hearing?
I'll make the motion to go into public hearing.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. We are in public hearing, and we'll turn the time to Mac.
Okay, is there, Mr. Black, it looks like you're the only one here. We did hear your comments earlier.
Last year, I guess, we had quite a few remote people.
Yeah.
That's how they come.
Yeah.
Well,
don't know
they have some people that have talked to us who would, about this. I have some contractors address about this situation. We thought that we had a discussion and be able to visit with
I
them.
didn't
So,
realize that this was just for one part of the fee schedule. I thought it was
uh-huh. Yeah.
in general. I don't have any comments on at this time on
The landfill changes. Okay.
But the comments from contractors that had contacted me, it was the cost of the license that you brought up early today, and how much more is than the city. And so that's something that we thought we kind of take a look and see.
Could you kind of summarize what the fee increase is?
I can, yeah. Glad to. Or Jed, go ahead. Jed's here. We can turn the attention. I've got it pulled up on the screen there.
I think it'll be the third time I've summarized
Yeah.
it. But, so in general, what the fee increase is the state passed a new law requiring landfills to charge extra fees to any load that comes to the landfill that is not tarped and secured. In other words, it's a two-part law. It has to be tarped and secured. You can't just throw a tarp over it and say that's secure. So the state passed a new law. The minimum requirement for that new law is we must charge $10. I've been to several meetings on it with state legislators as well as state landfill managers across the state. That is, they left it open though to landfills to charge what they would like to be able to change the behavior. So when we say change the behavior, we're meaning to get the public to come always to the landfill tarped and secured. So we've implemented in the fee schedule change, what we've proposed is double the tipping fee, whatever it would be. In other words, if a load comes to the landfill, our minimum fee at the landfill is $10. If it comes to the landfill and it's a $10 load, then we would barely be meeting the state mandated requirement of $10. So if they come untarped, instead of a $10 load, it would be a $20 load. That's what we would have to charge them. If they came with a $50 load, it would turn into a $100 load. So it's starting to get more dramatic. As the bigger the load is, the more trash that you would have. The reasoning behind doubling the tipping fee is there has been several landfills across the state who have already implemented this years ago. And in the implementation of it, while they were charging sometimes those minimum fees, they found that it did not change behavior, that people still came with the load and just said, it's only $10, I'll pay the extra $10. So our objective here is to change the behavior. So the reason for doubling the tipping fee would simply be so we can change behavior and get everybody to come. About 70% of the loads that come to the landfill from the general public barely meet the $10 minimum. So they would barely be meeting that $10 requirement required by the state anyway if they came untarped. Also included with this, we're including an education process where we're going to give everybody a new chance when they come to landfill the first time untarped. We're going to give them instructions on the new law. We're going to explain it to them, and they won't have to pay the fee the first time they come. However, we'll keep a database on that, and in the database, if they come a second time untarped, then we would charge them the fee. So in essence, Our goal here is to change behavior, not to charge any additional fees. In other words, the actual tipping fee for them to dump the load has not changed. What we're trying to change is to make sure that the load comes tarped and secured. Now, in reference to that, we have had in our policy for ever since the landfill's been there, the policy has been that the load is required to be tarped and secured. I know you've been to the landfill, you've seen their signs that say all loads must be tarped and secured. The problem with that has been there has never been any enforcement to the policy. There's never been any way to enforce the policy, and so that's what this proposal is there to do, is to create an enforcement to the policy, but also to create enough bite that, for instance, a major construction company that's loaded a big load of building materials on their trailer and, says, we just ain't got time to tarp it, take it to the landfill. Those are typically the ones that are going to be the biggest offenders, because if you go with the minimum of $10 is not going to entice them to tarp. Whereas doubling the tipping fee in almost every case where we've had data that's told us that entices them to tarp, and they come tarped. Currently, the landfill is probably receiving about 65, maybe even closer to 70% of the loads that come are already tarped and secured. So it's not going to be a big issue to a lot of people, but it's going to be an issue to some. And so that's why we need to get the fee schedule in place so that we can create an opportunity to have a learning curve or a learning time before we actually have to physically. The law became effective in May of 2025. So we have a curve, though, until July of 2026 before we are mandated to start sending those fees to the state of Utah. And so we want a learning curve there. We want a time frame so that we have time to learn and to educate the public. In the process with this, we plan on running ads in the paper informing the public of the new law. We plan on running a radio spot informing the public of the new law, in more than just the hearing situation. We want to have informative, educational type articles that would tell them how that's going to take place. But before we can do that, we have to have what we're going to charge them if they don't in place. And so that's primarily what this is.
I don't know. People are reading it, so I just pass it up to you.
I hope I've explained it well.
Yeah. Could I ask a couple of questions? Is that in order, Commissioner Stubbs?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a
No,
public hearing, I
basically,
think.
I was just gonna, trying to say, lots of times we are driving and people are ahead of us with the garbage coming, and sometimes it's dangerous, especially when big things, like,
What I've done with my trailer, from personal experience, I have a piece of woven wire put over the top.
Okay,
Everything
so
down tight. Does that count?
So let me tell you what the law reads. The law reads that it should be a solid covering.
So if it has holes in it.
If it has holes in it, it would not count. However, let me explain that. In my opinion, so let's say you had all the trash that you were using bagged. Bags are tied up and they're in the trailer. So to me, that would be a solid covering over the trash. However, those bags could fly out. So there still need to be like the wire mesh or something like you're talking about covering the bags. I would count that as a solid covering, yes.
Not in bags.
If it's not in bags, then it would not be solid covered, no.
My farm, you throw.
Right. And so it would have to be some kind of a covering without holes in it, correct, because it can blow through the holes sometimes.
And then I know the problem the city has is that how big does the fee have to get before you just say, heck with it, we'll go out to Westwater.
And I understand that. I would have the same concern, but I think if we're efficient enough and thorough enough in our education process, I don't think that'll happen. I think people will just tarp their loads and come. I know, for instance, the landfills in the state that have gone through this process already, some of them have already been requiring this for 10, 12 years. And those landfills said that there was a learning curve for the first year or two. He said after that, people always came to the landfill prepared.
I was out of Westwater about a week ago, and there were several new loads.
It does look sad, but I also, and I've brought that to the commission before, I attribute some of that to the city of Blanding closing their transfer station because they made it further for people to go. And some people just say, I don't know that. I don't have any data supporting that other than it seems I have people that have told us that it seems to be have occurred a lot more after they close their transfer station. And as of to date, the city of Blanding is the only one that's closed their transfer station. There's no other city that has closed their transfer station. We still have transfer stations in Blanding, or excuse me, in Monticello, in LaSalle, in Mexican Hat, in those areas.
And I have been having a talk with a former city manager now, has started over about the transportation. So, but I'll keep working on that and see what can happen there.
Yeah.
Because I do work, part of my district is White Mesa, Westwater, and they have done a lot they have removed lots of stuff from the community.
So, and I would also point out that this bill includes enforcement that all police departments are entitled to use. So in other words, the city of Blanding could have somebody sitting out there writing tickets for unsecured and non-tarped loads, and that the amount that they put into that has increased dramatically. The fee schedule currently, I think, is $50 ticket if you're littering on the highway. Under this law, the first offense would be a $200 ticket. The second offense would be a $400 ticket. The third offense would you'd still pay the $400 ticket, but you'd also be required to do 8 hours of community service of picking up trash along a highway or in the city. That's a requirement to the bill, and so
who gets the money? The city gets the money. The police gets the money.
On those tickets, as far as I know, they I think our attorneys could tell us more, but that would go to their. Now they have a reporting process they have to go through with the state reporting those fees. Correct. There's a reporting process for that, and they have to report how many of those kind of tickets they got back to the state, but the county or the city would keep those funds.
So I'm just too tired. I didn't sleep very good. So I keep thinking, well, maybe we make more money with the tickets than we do. But
and to show you how serious the state is about it, on commercial entities, the fee changed from $200 to $500 for their first offense, $1,000 to the second offense. And on the third offense, the commercial or the business would be required to give 40 hours of community service. So there's some teeth to it now, to where there used to be there was no teeth whatsoever. And so I would contend too that those cities would have the avenue to go out and enforce some of that illegal dumping a lot better if they would use the avenues to them to go enforce it.
that's good.
And maybe we could stop some of that. Anyway.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, commissioners, I don't know if anybody else wants to make a public comment on this one. There's
Do you have any online?
Mr. Harvey online, and you've got Larry online.
So I guess we have to make a motion
to close the public hearing.
We need a motion to close the public meeting and go back to our regular meeting. Is that how we do
I'll
it?
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Oh, Commissioner Harvey, is that a second or just a question?
Just a real quick question.
Okay.
Did we get all comments? From what I'm hearing today, there's no comments from the public.
Just Mr. Black.
Okay, so we have Mr. Black. I think for the record, maybe it's important to share. The city of Blanding did draft a letter, and we received it as commissioners, and if my memory serves me right, the city of Blanding opposes the fee for covered loads unless that's changed. That's what I remember the letter said.
That was about it. Yep.
But I think Commissioner Mon made a motion to close the hearing, so I will second the motion based on no other comments from the public.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second, and all in favor say yes. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. See?
Aye. So we go
Public
back to
hearing is
our
closed.
back to the
So
our regular
now
meeting.
you're back to the amendment to the ordinance. Any questions? It's kind of just a simple, we're amending it, putting a letter on the ordinance saying that it's amended, and then adjustment of the landfill fees. That's all there is.
You guys have long meetings.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Black.
Are you ready for a motion?
Okay.
So I will make a motion for the consideration and approval of amending the ordinance to be updated.
You're just leaving it in one place. Commissioner Harvey, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll make the second to approve the amendment to the ordinance.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay. I'll say aye.
Okay, so the motion passes.
Motion passes, and do we have one more motion?
Let's see, you've got
Oh,
commission reports, and then I don't know, commissioners, if you wanted to
yeah.
have an
Yeah, okay.
executive session for
Thank you.
Thank you.
pending and imminent litigation.
okay. So, I'm sorry, I thought we were. Okay, commission reports. Who wants to go first? This is.
Okay.
This is-
I'll
this
go.
is- This is
You're
Max.
ready?
This is Max phone.
So quiet.
I'm trying to figure out whose phone it was now.
Okay, so for commission reports, I had a lot of meetings with public lands involvement. Nick Sandberg and I both attended the meeting down here at the Hideout. It was with the Forest Service revision plan that's been in the works for the last 10 years. And so it was an all-day meeting, but we got a lot of insight as to forest management, wildlife, watershed. Of course, wildfire was a huge concern now that that's being brought up. And water discussion always is a big one. Let's see. I feel like it's been a long 2 weeks. What else? And then I did mention the training for the centrally assessed, but also that think tank. And also I will be involved in a meeting tomorrow, which is also another think tank meeting with Senator McKay regarding the abatement and the circuit breaker program, which I've spoken with Tammy Gallegos about, how it affects our residents in our county. And so they want to combine that, get rid of the circuit breaker and do just a deferral program. So that's the way this new bill is going to be headed. So to have UAC have some say in it, we're trying to craft the wording that helps agree with what he wants to do. Because whether we agree or disagree, the bill's going to come forward anyway. So I've been working with like I said, the Office of Aging over here to make sure that our residents are heard in any other concerns that they may have. So I guess in a nutshell, that's kind of what I've been working on. And then of course with Nick Sandberg with that healthy forests and stuff. So
Commissioner Harvey.
He went to lunch.
Rightly so.
Are you still there, Commissioner Harvey? Do you want to do your report?
He's not coming off of mute. So we might have lost him. He popped back
Okay.
on and off. So
Okay.
a minute ago.
This past week, I've been working for quite a while in a grant. So I traveled to Price where I can finalize a grant with the grant writer, which they were really nice to be able to let us use their nonprofit account. I don't have no news yet of how it went. We'll find out shortly, but I also participate in the 7 county commission meeting. Some of the projects with San Juan County have been closed or are to be closed. We had the Halchita water situation, which it went from worse to really bad, where the water looks like rust. So the people could not have in water for cooking. And I had taken a few trips that direction to trying to work with Mexican Hat, trying to figure out how we can do a well system that can help, similar to the blending idea. Anyway, so during the county, 7 county meetings, the engineers talked this. They went to the Navajo Nation, and it takes a while to be able to be. People have to trust you, and I think that getting to that point where people can trust them. So they're gonna get together and try to figure out a solution, and the engineers think that they can drill shallow wells along the river so they can pump the water. So that's still in the making. I'm glad because they asked for our assistance from the Ochito chapter, which is Halchita is part of that, for us to donate water, drinking water, which is just seems like first it's sad. That's one of the saddest part for me working with the reservation. They ask for help, and I mean, maybe it's removing rocks or something. We had the equipment. Mac has been really good to assist with those things. When they have a storm, the rock coming to the road, but when they ask for funds or things, and I tried to find water for them, and it was just kind of hard to do that, and that's one of the hardest part, working when we don't have the money to help them. But I'm kind of feeling good about it. Maybe it's a solution that can be that we can, through the 7 county, we can help them to have the water. And anyway, another thing that somebody forwarded me that saw in the news had basically kind of like the idea of the one letter that we support today. The 5 counties, Beaver, Parkville, Iron, Kane County, and Washington County, they're trying to write a letter, be a part of a group. They basically asking whoever's in charge of forestry to maintain in a way that doesn't hurt us, because every time we have fire, when the forest is not maintained or is not taken care, it creates lots of problem, inconvenience for the people of the counties, not only cost, but lots of loss to fire. Anyway, I was just thinking about what you guys think about the idea of having Mac draft a letter where we can ask to join them in their whatever they're trying to accomplish. And I'm familiar with all the commissioners from those counties, and I think they have similar situation to ours. And I don't know if that'd be appropriate for you, Matt, to write, and we can. It'd be something that will help us, because I noticed that one county is just one county, but the more you work together, that's when it multiplies the ability to be listened to. It multiplies not just by 5, but 5 times 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and it's you can accomplish a lot more than that. So I think that would be a good thing to do that. I continue to work with wastewater with the weatherization program. They're very excited about what's happening there. I mentioned to the El Cheto chapter when I was there a couple weeks ago about that, that can be an opportunity for them to have weatherization. They come and they check, make sure they have a system where they kind of seal the home in a way, and they have a system to see how much they're losing, how much energy they're losing. They have wood stove, they're more efficient, that they can provide sometimes windows, sometimes a doors, sometimes anyway, but they have been working in Juan Mesa, so I visited with the people when I was there last Wednesday, and Price about having the opportunity for them to go and do the intake and things like that, and we had to get approval, from the chapter to make sure that it's okay with them. Anyway, so I had that, and I'll just stop at that, and so thank you.
Commissioner Harvey, are you back online yet?
Maybe he phone died.
Might be traveling. Call will drop is what he just said.
Oh, he said something.
Okay, we could
Call will drop.
skip his.
Yeah. So are you ready for
He
that
just
motion for that, which Max sent you?
Yeah.
So I make a motion, we go into closed session for the discussion of imminent and pending litigation.
It's just you two.
And make Michelle second.
You're making yourself sick.
Did you make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I
You'll have to
second it.
Oh, you second it?
Well,
Okay.
is anybody
Yeah.
else?
No, you're good.
Nope.
Anyway, it's us. It's just the two of us, I guess. So
Correct. Yep. It's just you two.
So then you have to ask for the motion though.
So
Or
you got
for
a
the
motion
vote.
and a second. Now y'all.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, and a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So
Okay.
I don't know. By this time, I feel
Let
like
me-
those two ladies who were drank too much water, and I.
Nope, you're fine.
Okay.
Take a break. It'll take me a minute just to get off.